just a case. You're not just a client. You're a person, and you deserve support. You deserve simplicity. You deserve communication. When you hire an attorney, you deserve clear, risk-free advice that guides you to the best possible outcome in your injury case. And that's exactly what the advocates have been providing for over 30 years. After your accident, you deserve closure. You deserve compassion. You deserve peace of mind. You deserve an advocate.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, The Monty Show live on your YouTube machine. Good Monday to you. How's everybody?
Man, it's just, wow, it's incredible to be here. Wow.
As always, we're presented by The Advocates at theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. 24/7, 365, and it won't cost you a dime. It's the best part about working with The Advocates. You never reach into your pocket to pay The Advocates because you don't pay unless and until The Advocates win your case at theadvocates.com. What a weekend in college football. Holy cow. The chopping block is, I think we are going to see over the next several weeks that the chopping block in college football, it's going to be prodigious. I don't know any other word that comes to mind. I think we are already looking at just a volume of college football coaches being fired. I think you look at certainly Billy Napier getting the axe yesterday because of the bye week. Yes, they win a football game. I don't even know that matters anymore. You're either going in the right direction or you're going in the wrong direction. And I think it is very clear that they are going in the wrong direction. Were you at all surprised that they fired Billy Napier?
I mean, I think it's the right decision. I think that you cannot continue just to be, you can't continue to be average or fall behind or, just not be going in the right direction. And I think that Florida is a job where you have expectations. You have national championship expectations. It's the SEC. It's just not good enough. And I think we've been talking about Billy not being good enough for too long, frankly. So I wasn't like, we did this with James Franklin too. Oh, we should have waited till the end of the year. We should have taken better care. We should have accounted for his feelings more. But the reality is it's a business, dude. And if you're not winning games, you can't be there. It is what it is.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know what the right thing is to do with guys like Billy Napier. I look at this situation. It is instantaneously the best available job in college football. I mean, if you start ranking, and we'll get into this in a bit, but when you start ranking the open jobs and the way that they stack up, I mean, certainly jobs like Oklahoma State, that's probably the worst available job in college football. I think if you put Florida on that list, Florida is instantly the best available job in college football. I think every major available coach would take that job right now. I think that obviously Lane Kiffin is the name that everybody is talking about. Steve Spurrier was his hero. As many have pointed out, that's why, Kiff wears a visor, because he's tipping his cap to Steve Spurrier. Steve Spurrier made his name essentially at Florida. Like all of that stuff, the stars align, it all comes together. It feels like the natural fit. But I just think the jobs that are going to be open, they are many. And I think when you start looking at the way these things played out this weekend, and then you start looking at what's going on in the Big 12, I think there are going to be multiple open jobs in the Big 12. I think Baylor, it's a fait accompli. I don't even know how Baylor doesn't fire Dave Aranda at this point.
I don't know either. I mean, I feel like we've been asking that question for years as well. I mean, it's at some point you have to prioritize winning. At some point you have to prioritize, putting yourself in the best spot possible. And I think, with everything that went down in the Big 12 this weekend, nobody cared what Baylor did or did not do. And I think that's your biggest problem, in Waco.
Yeah, I also think that everything that Oak State James touches dies. And I think that's why TCU, I think they have to make a change with Sonny Dykes. I mean, as much as I like Spike Dykes' kid, I just think that program is lost in the sauce. You have this unbelievable offense that can't stop anybody. I look at that job. I think TCU would be a fantastic job if it's open. Baylor is going to be a really good job if it's open. Utah, with the loss to BYU that we're going to talk about in a minute, I think the Utah job's going to be open, but Morgan Scalley is the coach in waiting under contract. That job's not going to be open per se. There will be a change there, it feels like. But you look around the Big 12, and I think you start to understand that maybe this was not such a great weekend for the Big 12. And I know that we had really good football games, but I'm not trying to troll Texas Tech fans, but all of you that were in here, all of you that were in our comment section last week telling me I just hate Texas Tech, I don't know what I'm talking about, and that the university supports everything that's going on in the state. They clearly do not. And again, I think when we look at Tortilla Gate, the sad thing is we're not talking about Texas Tech football. We are talking about the unbelievable embarrassment that the actions of the fans in Lubbock have turned it into.
The stakes are too high, and we need to help, not risk penalizing our team again for throwing tortillas. Simply, let's not do it. The situation is on me. I leaned into this of throwing tortillas at the beginning of the football season. Now I must ask everyone to stop, and I must ask our staff to enforce it on game days. I close and will turn it over to Coach McGuire by asking our students and our fans to continue to make Jones AT&T Stadium the best environment in college football. And I don't know how they will do it, but I am confident that our fans and our students are about to make the Jones even louder than it's ever been before.
When your athletic director is having to say, stop doing this, and I'll go back. You look at the teleconference that they held the other day. This, I think you're watching this. This is turning into a really difficult situation in Lubbock.
So beginning this week, here is the policy. The first time a tortilla is thrown on the field, there's a PA announcement that's required as a warning. The second time a tortilla is thrown on the field, and they changed it. It's not the field, it's the playing enclosure. So even if it hits the sideline, if it hits behind the end zone, if it's in the playing enclosure, that second strike, it's a 15-yard penalty and a $100,000 fine.
What's there to talk about, bro?
What else? What else do we need to say? Now, it's become a real problem in Lubbock. You've got to stop. And now they're saying that they are going to be checking people for tortillas and discouraging them from bringing them in. Like, you got to fix it. If you're a Texas Tech fan, I don't hate Texas Tech I in any way, shape, or form. You're the one that's causing the problem. If you're a fan that is throwing things, including tortillas, on the field in Lubbock, you're causing the problem. And now you lost a football game. And which again, I know I pissed off everybody in West Texas when I said I think you're going to go to Arizona State and lose.
Dilly.
I told you this was going to be a very difficult game, and you wound up losing the game. And you start to understand now that this is the quarterback issue that I've been talking about. I don't think you have a number one quarterback in Lubbock. And this was supposed to be the weekend where you got away from Baron Morton and we're going to take off running. Well, that never happened. And I don't know if this is because you're on the road. I don't know if this is because Baron Morton's more important than any of us thought. But what I do know is this is now a real legitimate issue for Texas Tech. And I think at some point you're going to have to fix it.
I mean, and I also think that it's part of it is that, Kenny and, the Sun Devils came to play. I mean, Kenny talked a lot about how, they weren't, they had gotten away from physical practices and gotten away from, that mentality of like, going full throttle in practice and like, just having that energy and that vibe. And they got back to that in this week of preparation. And I think, you see the fruits of that labor. And I think that, it's always a tough environment to go there, if you're Texas
Very
Tech,
tough.
but then, you double down on that with, hey, we had a great week of practice. We were super physical. We felt good. We were ready. And that's been Texas Tech's, calling card is, hey, we're going to come in here and we're going to kick your ass up front. And then we're going to run the football and then we're going to take shots. That's been their recipe for success. And so when that doesn't happen and when you're not able to, just blow out the competition and, impose your will, then you're playing a very different game. And I think that this is the first time that we really saw Texas Tech, be in trouble. I mean, you're watching this game and you're like, yeah, dude, like Tech's in trouble here. They're fighting for their life here, in this game. And it wasn't real clear how you were going to come back from that. And you end up running out of time and, it just played out. So I don't know, man. I think it was clear as day. Like if you didn't learn the BYU lesson last year, to me, Texas Tech is BYU from last year. You're undefeated. You had this great win. Everything's amazing. We're perfect. We can do whatever we want. We can throw things at other teams. Like, no problem, dude. Oh, that's right. Until you start losing games. And now we got to have a conversation about not throwing tortillas, where you stack up in the AP top 25, if you're going to make the college football playoff. Hell, if you're going to win the conference. Because now the conversation's kind of turned. Now it's not just a gimme that you're in the driver's seat to control this conference, because you're not now. You need help from BYU to get back into the driver's seat. And I don't think that anyone believes that BYU is going to go undefeated. I think they need to prove that. And, I'm glad to hear that they're talking about learning the lesson from last year, but you got to go out and prove it now. You got to go out and win the rest of the games on your schedule and keep Tech off your back.
Yeah, and what scares you is you start looking at the numbers on this game and the stats don't lie. There was not a lot of pressure on Texas Tech's offense here. They were only blitzed 9 times. When they were not blitzed, their passing attack was rated a 65, which is not good. And it tells you that they just did not execute. And I think that's the hard part. And now we start looking at the way that this game played out. And listen, I'm not saying that Texas Tech is dead or a bad football team. I think you've got to figure out how to get Behren Morton to win games on the road against ranked opponents, because that is a huge, huge problem. And you go back and you look at the size of Sam Leavitt's testicles in this game, and you start to understand that those things, it's 2 hands. Boys, it's 2 hands. The way that he played, he clearly was not healthy. 319 and a touchdown. To absolutely throw footballs in places that only Jordan Tyson was going to catch them. I mean, that was a performance for the ages in Tempe. I think when you talk about why Sam Leavitt is so beloved, that's exactly why Sam Leavitt is so beloved, because that was incredible. I think it puts Arizona State smack dab in the middle of the Big 12 championship conversation. And obviously, I still think Texas Tech is elite. I don't know that we can rubber stamp them as the best team in this league anymore, because that just was simply not a good performance. And a lot of it is that you couldn't throw the football at will, and you couldn't run the football because Arizona State knew you couldn't throw the football. But this is the first time we've seen this offense go up against a defense that was not scared at all in any way, shape, or form. And that is what is concerning to me. The Arizona State offense just did what it wanted to do against what is supposed to be a very good defense, and that just did not materialize. Behren Morton in the quarterback situation should not have had any impact on the Texas Tech defense, yet it did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, couldn't agree more. And I think that, again, it just, I think that there's this sort of, like when you're undefeated and you go on the road to play a solid team, but that team has some injuries, and, you feel like, oh, well, we should beat this team, even though they're pretty good. Like they're, if they were healthy, they'd be just as good as us. You go in there and you're just not like, you just didn't really show up the way you had the last several weeks. And every team, I feel like in the Big 12 who's contending for a Big 12 championship has one of these weeks in the season. And then it's like, all right, well, is this going to turn into 2, 3, 4 weeks, or are you guys just able to flip this around? Because That's what happened with BYU last year. You were undefeated. You lost, or you beat Utah. You fell asleep. You lost 2 weeks in a row, I believe it was, and your season's over. And so for me, I look at this and I say, okay, well, now this to me is worst case scenario for the Big 12, because it would have been really nice if Texas Tech would have just basically autopiloted into the Big 12 championship, and then you could have had one other team like BYU go into the CFP with you, and then you could have been a 2-bid lead this year. But now I'm not so sure that that's possible, because now Texas Tech has to bounce back and find a way to keep their spot in the CFP or in the AP Top 25 for the rest of the year, so they can continue to get into the CFP. And I just don't think that that's a guarantee at this point.
Yeah, and I think the BYU conversation is a very serious one. I mean, we need to have a conversation about how good this team is. You are clearly being hampered by a quarterback who is not able to throw you to wins. And this team now, I think, is wholly dependent on running the football. And Bear Bachmeier has to be a big part of that. And I think what we saw against Utah was Bear Bachmeier can make a throw or two that he has to make, but you cannot build your offense around him. But I think it's very interesting looking forward. Does beating Utah in the Holy War, especially in October, create a letdown?
I think last year we learned from last year. Last year we, beat Utah and then lost the next two, right? And this year, I think that's not going to happen. We have the mindset now, like, okay, we've learned from last year. Let's not do the same thing. Let's learn from our mistakes and move forward and keep winning games.
And I think that's the only thing you can do. But again, watching this game, like watching, this morning I'm looking at Bear Bachmeier, and he just is an awkward operator. I mean, there's no other way to put that. My biggest concern is he won't survive the season because he is taking explosive hits. And I don't want my quarterback. I've watched that play where he jumped over the Utah defender, and BYU fans treated this like it was the greatest thing you've ever seen. And this kid's a Heisman Trophy. There's a guy tweeting that Bear Bachmeier's a Heisman Trophy candidate. The enormity of elation and ejacularity that took place when Bear Bachmeier jumped over that Ute. Look, I get it. It's spectacular and it looks cool. I don't want my quarterback doing that.
Nope.
I don't want my quarterback leaving the ground. He jumps over a player. As soon as he lands, he's got a shoulder pad on his shin. And luckily the cleat didn't stick. But that's a broken leg waiting to happen, right? Like, then he takes that Lander Barton hit because he's just exposed in the pocket and move it. Like, my biggest concern is he's putting himself in these unnecessary situations where he's taking these big hits because you can see that he does not trust what his eyes are seeing. And it's a big concern for me.
Yeah, I mean, it should be. And I think that part of it too, like, watching the game, I feel like part of it was that he was trying to, he was pressing, clearly, in my opinion. I mean, I think he was, there were many instances in this game, and it wasn't the whole game, but I felt like there were, the Lander Barton hit, there were several of them where I was like, dude, like, you're trying to do too much here. You're playing hero ball and you're not doing it the whole game. And it's certainly not defining your holy war as a freshman, but there are just instances where it's like, dude, just it's the classic, just throw it away. Don't take the hit from the linebacker or the safety. Just throw the ball away. Live to fight another day. Like, don't try to do too much. Don't try to jump over guys and then get popped. Don't do that, man. Like, if this guy can just stay healthy, they're going to be fine. Because I agree, like, he's clearly a shortcoming for the team right now, but it's not enough of a shortcoming to where they can't compete to win the Big 12.
Because he's an elite runner.
Yeah.
Right? As far as production goes. But there's a couple of things about his passing game that really stand out. Everybody is pointing to the fact that he's one of the highest rated deep ball throwers in the Big 12. Do you guys understand? And I always say this, you got to understand the statistics. He's rated an 89 throwing a ball 20 yards or more down the middle of the field. He's rated an 89. Do you guys understand that throwing the ball deep left, he's rated a 59? So wait a minute. Let me get this right. You're 30 points less throwing the ball left. It should shock you that Bear Bachmeier is a 52 throwing the ball deep into the right side of the field. So you have speed, and he's really good at throwing that ball up and over the middle to let his guy run under it. But one of the things that almost beat them against Utah, and turnovers and some other, his inability to throw a ball deep down the sideline and keep it in play. You watch Bear Bachmeier, and that ball he throws deep consistently goes out of bounds on the sideline. And the other number that just jumps off the chart, and I don't know that I've ever seen a rating this low. When they do not run play action for him, he's rated a 28 as a passer. That is I've never seen a rating that low. So when they're running the football, BYU's a very good offense. If they do not run play action, no play action against Utah, he was rated a 28. That hurts my voice box just saying that. A 20, like, are you not shocked by that? I am shocked
terrible.
by that.
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, I even for him, 28 seems, incredibly low.
A 28?
Obviously. Yeah.
Like 0 for 3. He cannot throw the ball to the right. Just forget it. You want to beat Bear Bachmeier and BYU, force him to roll right and keep him behind the line of scrimmage. You will beat BYU's offense. Because you look at the numbers, 0 for 3, 20 yards or more down the field, 0 of 2, 10 to 20 yards, 1 of 1, 0 to 10 yards. He is not good. And then you look at the numbers throwing left, 3 of 3 between 10 and 20 yards, 2 of 2 between 0 and 10 yards, 0 of 1 deep left, 1 of 2 deep center. You want him to throw the ball well, he's got to throw it center left. So I think if I know that, and if the tape is standing out to me, and if the facts are backing that up, the statistics are backing that up, that's a real weakness for BYU. And I just am curious, when you look at this game and you look at BYU versus Utah, I think it just needs to be said. BYU is a better football program than Utah right now. What is really painful for...
Here we go.
I don't know, man. What is really painful for Utah is that they just do not have skill position players. And you have this outstanding quarterback in Devin Dampier, who I thought had a hell of a game. And he's injured now, apparently. He has an ankle injury that could keep him out of the game this week against Colorado, which would be a big loss for them. But the level with which he played at, with 0 wide receivers and very limited running back production, it's shocking to me that you have no talent outside for him. You have an elite tight end, you have an elite quarterback, and that's it. That again, and I know we've talked about that ad nauseum on the show about Utah.
It's a defining factor and a defining characteristic of Kyle Whittingham football teams. It's really solid defense, can hang with the best of them, but can't score enough points and does not have dynamic enough talent outside to inflict their will on the defense. And that's the really hard part about what, Utah tried to do in this game is that you just couldn't, like they look for the big play, but the big play is not going to be there if the defense doesn't have to respect your speed, because that's the thing is that big plays are born out of the defense fearing your ability to go over the top. And no defense is scared of Utah going over the top.
No.
They're scared of Devin Dampier running underneath when they turn their back. That's what they're scared of. They're not scared of dude running by him. So that's the problem.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, Greg Hawkins. I'm sorry, buddy. I get it. Greg is a diehard Cub fan, such as in like myself. But I thought it was interesting. And I know we're not allowed to talk baseball. You turn that goddamn music off. Jake is such a jerk. I thought it was interesting. Did you guys see what the Brewers said? Yeah, turn the music up, will you? We lost to the Brewers. We lost to the Dodgers because we left everything we had on the field to beat the Cubs. It was an emotional victory.
Oh.
We left our soul in that series. Well, maybe you cock. If you hadn't had an L flag in your celebration, maybe you could have actually, thrown a pitch.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. You suck.
Thank you. Exactly a quote for me watching them play the Dodgers.
Yeah, great season. Beat the Cubs only to get swept by the best baseball player of all time. Just an awesome season, dude.
Oh, sorry about your jutes. Surprised that SFU Mike Norvell didn't get fired. Too bad. Stanford losing to a bad Stanford football team. Well, we'll get into firings. I think that's true. Brandon Butler, big Pontiff. How about the great gambler on Friday? Show be dealing. Dude, the home run he hit.
Dude, goated. Goated performance, dude. Goated.
I left some of the boys on the carpet after that. It was pretty remarkable. That might be the best single game performance in the history of Major League Baseball.
10 Ks, 3 for 3, 3 home runs.
I don't think we've ever
there?
seen it. I don't know that we've ever seen it. And as much as I believe he was the one betting on baseball, you're seeing exactly why they wouldn't rack him. They wouldn't do it. Yeah, he's incredible. He is incredible. Arguably a perfect game. Throwing the singular accomplishment of throwing a perfect game in the World Series that's going to be tough to beat. Sataki and with both made boneheaded calls going for it on fourth instead of taking the field goal. Listen, I think the sad part about the Holy War is I do believe it's the last Holy War for Kyle Whittingham. I think you are seeing that, and I love Whit. I am a huge Kyle Whittingham fan. The modern era of Utah football needs to arrive. And I don't say that lightly. If Kyle Whittingham is not willing to go out and find bros that can run the go route at 22, 23 miles an hour, we're watching the very best that Utah football will ever have to offer. Because you have an elite quarterback. And again, I will continue to say, I look at Devin Dampier and I'm telling you, he's playing elite football. And he's getting no help. The offensive line, the mental mistakes in totality by the Utah Utes, it's hard to overcome that.
Yes.
And I think the biggest issue is the coach in waiting, Morgan Scalley, is a defensive guy and a really good defensive guy. Can Morgan Scalley build an offensive staff, Jason Beck or otherwise? Can Morgan Scalley build an offensive staff that can go and find? They need 6 wide receivers. They need 3 running backs. I mean, you're not talented offensively. In this day and age, that you are unable to take the top off of defenses, don't get off the bus.
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing.
It is really difficult. And looking at Dampier's numbers, bro, I got to tell you that I think it is wild how efficient he is. It is really difficult to measure. I just can't tell you how impressive it is. And of course, I've got to find his number, but it is wild how impressive it is that he is able to operate at the level that he does with nothing.
Yeah, he runs his ass off, man. the guy runs his ass off. Runs around, running from the pressure, trying to make plays, trying to do things. And the problem is you can't do that against good defenses because they'll turn you over. Eventually, you will turn it over against a good defense. And that's what we've seen play out. And it's why you couldn't compete with Texas Tech. And yeah, sure, I don't care if Dampier's ankle hurt or not. He was out there. He was running around. He was doing his thing, and you had 2 turnovers in that one because you were behind. and chasing the game. And that's really the issue. And I think that the unfortunate part is, like, you did get behind the defense in the Tech game and you still shot yourself in the foot with that penalty by Fano. So I just think the team is the program for me needs some kind of injection. It needs the Tech treatment. It needs like, hey, we're going to go and get younger at head coach. We're going to get more enthusiastic personality wise. I never see Witt doing commercials. I never see him on social media. I don't see him around. You have to step your game up, bro. And I love Witt. He's had an incredible career, but at some time, enough is enough. And what's frustrating is it feels like this team and its core is good enough, and it just feels like you didn't do a good enough job on the perimeter to compete in these big games where you need your best receiver to go down the field and make a play when you've got nothing going on to break the game open your way.
And the sad thing about Dampier's numbers is that when you look at his likelihood for success on balls that he threw was 94.7%. He completed, and I'm just going to double check this number. He completed 62.5%. So what that means is 30% of the balls he threw should have been caught, and they simply were not caught. Do you know on his percentage of passes that were in jeopardy, like throws that could have been intercepted? Do you guys understand that this dude threw 37 passes? One pass out of 37 was likely for interception. That's how efficient he was passing the football. And and this is what I love about PFF, by the way, because stats don't tell you a story. You have to look at a wide variety of them. You have to understand what they mean, how to apply them. You look at just the efficiency and the likelihood for success numbers. Devin Dampier is off the charts, and he just doesn't have offensive talent to make it happen. That's what's so frustrating. He's putting the ball in the right place. They can't catch it. And he is so good. One of the numbers that really stands out to me, under pressure and when he's blitzed, his likelihood for interception, 0. When he was blitzed and under pressure, 0% for turnover. That's unbelievable. And they were really never in danger of winning the game. That's what's so disgusting about their offense. And it's why they won't make the college football playoff. It's why, in all likelihood, at the end of the season, Kyle Whittingham is going to retire. And it's why you are, and I know we've talked about this. Mm-hmm. We need to see a complete change in style and attitude about offense.
Which is why Morgan Scalley being the coach in waiting concerns me.
Man, I can't even tell you the seismic change that will come to Utah football. Oh, fuck.
And here we go. I mean, we're like, dude.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie. Shut the fuck up, Donnie. Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Devin,
you had a good season, dude.
Devin Dampier was a nice young boy. He treated everybody with respect.
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
Devin, Donnie, same thing. Devin Dampier,
God.
On the day that we lay his football career to rest, I hope that you will remember him fondly. And when Oak State James puts a plaque of Devin Dampier on Oak State James, his own headstone, along with right next to Preston Stone's cock, I hope that you guys will remember just how passionate Oak State James was about destroying people's lives.
Hi, this is James. Welcome back.
This announcement presented by Manischewitz.
Yay!
The TCU Jimmy curse.
Macaque.
Oh my God. He does, but Payson Cougar fan, he's going to die now that Oak State James TCU Horny James has endorsed him. Do you know what a fraud you are bro? Do you understand? It's not that you're right or wrong. Everything you say is death. I mean, we can go right down the list.
Jake Retzloff is the best quarterback in the state of Utah.
Monty,
you convinced
me. Monty, you convinced me. Jake Retzloff, all world. Breaking news. Jake Retzloff had sex. Now you don't talk about him anymore. And he's having a monster season at Tulane. Right? You Josh Ford, the ginger boy tight end at Oak State. Hey boy. Oak State in total. Ollie Gordon in total.
Preston
Stone in his phallic unit.
Yeah.
I mean, the list, the Chicago Cubs, Hoss Hengy, the Chicago Cubs, the Pope, your own rectum, like all of the things that you've talked about that have just absolutely shriveled up and died.
Coach Gundy.
Mike Gundy. Retzloff scores and they punish him. Never seen it in a football program before. Preston Stone led Northwestern to beat Penn State. Right, but you had him at SMU.
Bro is at Northwestern, and you're trying to sell us on that being a positive move.
So if we wind the clocks back,
bro, dude,
when BYU
wind the clocks back a year,
went to SMU last year, I believe it was, and I told you, hey, they're going to win. You're like, oh no, Preston Stone, man. He dislodged a vocal cord on me last night, but when he was doing that, I realized he's the best quarterback in the history of football.
I need a dick.
And he basically got benched 3 snaps into that game, and we never saw him again. And
I just want to thank you all.
He showed up at the Genital Car Wash in Evanston, Illinois, and you're like, oh.
And it sucks.
Sigh, at least TCU won the rivalry barely, but did you win? I honestly, is there a TCU, and nobody is more passionate about TCU football than Oak State James, followed closely by David Persons.
We show up.
Who's, an actual real TCU fan. We need a change. We need a change. And I think it is remarkable to me that Sonny Dykes has let this program sink to this level.
He don't know nothing.
I love Sonny. I had the great pleasure of covering him at Cal. I think we all like Sonny Dykes. This is not it. Dave Aranda, this is not it. This isn't it. Kyle Whittingham, this isn't it.
It's time for a change.
And I think it's very difficult to say. It's very difficult to say. Eric Wasikowski. Are you on board with the fact that Sharon Moore is a terrible coach?
Dude, this is so great doing this in person because I can just sit here and watch you just torch these dudes.
You watch the way Michigan won their football game this weekend. And listen, from very much a position of, God, I absolutely hate Michigan football. Living in that position and understanding that Michigan sucks, and they do suck.
Fucking A.
They're not good. And you start looking at their passing numbers. And first of all, I just want to say Washington, Jed Fish should have resigned after this game. There are a few quarterbacks who have regressed the way that we watched Washington.
It's garbage.
But if you look at Homie's numbers, do you guys understand that Bryce Underwood does not throw the ball outside? He only throws the ball down the middle of the field. That's it. He threw 12 passes down the middle of the field. He threw 3 outside, and all 3 of them were to the right, and only one of them was complete. And the shocking thing is, he just cannot complete a pass when he's clean. If you do not blitz him, Bryce Underwood, he has terrible mechanics because he's not being coached. Because the talent is there. There's no question. He is everything you thought he was going to be as a talent. And he just is terrible at throwing the football. And I don't know why Washington kept blitzing him, because he just kept dumping it under the middle right behind the linebacker.
Why did Washington do what nobody else has done this year versus Bryce Underwood? Because that's what that is, dude. No other team has gone out and blitzed at the rate you did and tried to pressure him. And, you know, like, you're just asking for trouble, bro. Like, why are we, like, why? Why not just sit back in coverage and let this guy hand you the football on a silver platter? Is it that difficult to just play a disciplined zone scheme?
Sharon Moore is absolutely doing Bryce Underwood a disservice. And I think you're going to see very quickly that he either is going to get fired or Bryce Underwood's getting in the portal, because he's just not. And I will never understand why coaches do this. Sharon Moore is trying to make Bryce Underwood play the football that Bryce Underwood is not good at. Bryce Underwood can do one thing throwing the football right now, anywhere in the middle of the field. And I've talked about this before. He cannot throw the ball outside to his left under any circumstance. It is always high and it is always inaccurate. So he doesn't even look left anymore. And you are not, and I'll never understand this, he has only run 39 times on the entire season. You're not letting him run. He is as dual threat as they come, and you are not letting him run. I will never understand it. I don't get it. And I really fear for him, because you're let like 7 times for 25 yards. That's what they let him run against Washington. And they pretty much dominated Washington up front. Washington, and I'll be honest with you, I am not sure what Damon Williams was looking at. He threw some interceptions that I'm like, dude, what were you, like, he legit on one of the interceptions threw it directly to a linebacker who was in a ready position, just standing there. He threw it right at it. I'll never understand it, but I am telling you now, Sharon Moore is not a good football coach.
Yeah.
He's just not a good football coach. It's wild to me how unfundamental Michigan football has become. I'll never understand it, but is what it is. Chris says Washington team's future is bright. I've seen a few of their games. They're building something there. Jed Fish. I like Jed Fish a lot. You have a quarterback that's that talented, and you do nothing with it.
It's terrible.
Yeah, I guess I will just never understand it. I won't. And then I should probably leave the room for this. Because I don't want Jake to feel uncomfortable. And let me just put the bucked up promo on the screen, because I'm about to get bucked up. Notre Dame dominates. No, that's not true. Notre Dame beat the hell out of USC on the ground. I believe somebody on this show, I can't remember which one of us, predicted.
You take you a deuce. You don't sit there and look at it. You flush it and move on.
One of us said that USC was going to win this game. One of us said Notre Dame was going to win this game.
F around and find out.
Now, I'm old. I'm a bad Mormon not going to heaven.
I don't live in a what-if scenario.
But I'm pretty sure that you said USC was going to win this game and that they just couldn't control the explosive offense of USC.
You're a homer is the first part.
Every year I talk about this with Lincoln Riley. Every year. And, fool me once, fool me twice. I guess I got fooled the third time. But, I mean, I think it was an embarrassing performance out of USC. I think that Lincoln Riley
apologize
should be fired. I'm not
or don't.
apologizing.
You need
dude.
to apologize.
I'm not apologizing.
You're doing this preamble. You always
no,
do, and it worries
no.
me because usually when you foam at the mouth like this, you don't apologize.
I'm not apologizing.
Usually it's like you just like butt spew and then you don't wipe.
Erroneous.
That's what this feels like. This feels like an apology that's
I don't
not
know what
apologetic.
sharding has to do with anything.
Are you going?
But no, I'm not, dude. I'm not.
I'm just going to start calling you Oak State Jake.
I'm not. No, Trojan Jake is fine if that's how it's going to be. But I'm not apologizing for this. This is one of the most embarrassing performances out of USC. Notre Dame did nothing in this game that was unbeatable or
besides running the football.
Or yeah, great, neat. You ran the football. That doesn't matter, dude. That's the strength of your offense. And you were not in position to win this game until USC turned it over twice in the second half, and just looked unprepared for the big moment.
That must be it.
That is it. Precisely, that is it. Absolutely, that is it.
Now you understand that we did not pass the ball well at all. And this game was, without question, in doubt. And my guy did not perform well. CJ Carr. Greatest Joe Montana. Turns out that's not true.
Imika Egbegbo.
Yeah, exactly. Because under pressure, he's graded a 30. He was not good.
Because it's garbage.
And in play action, he was even worse. And when you run for 300 yards on the ground and you're rated a 29 in play action, I don't know. I know this is obvious. That's not good.
We keeping the book right now. We ass.
But I think the impressive part about this game was that USC actually stayed in the game. And I do not believe, in my opinion, in the Iraq. That I knew you were going to play that. My opinion in the Iraq is that Notre Dame was simply just the better team. And that's why we won the game. And when I look at Jade Mayava, he is a fantastic quarterback. 328, 2 touchdowns, but the 2 interceptions are unforgivable. CJ Carr was 16 of 26 for 136 yards. Jeremiah Love was 24 carries. This number, and this
here is why Lincoln Riley should be fired.
Here. If you are one who likes to enjoy your own self, get ready. He ran the ball 24 times for 228 yards. Do you know what that is per carry? How about 9.5 yards a carry? I said Jeremiah Love averaged 9.5 yards a carry. Jadarian Price, who is, in my opinion, going to win a Heisman Trophy at Notre Dame, 13 for 87, 6.7 yards a carry. And then CJ Carr, 5 carries for -7 yards because he sucks. But we dominated. 44 carries, 306 yards, 7-yard average, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, and I think that I don't even disagree with any of that. I think if we're putting the red assery aside for a moment.
Are you going to apologize?
No, I'm not going to apologize, dude. I was not wrong about this game. USC absolutely gave this game away on a platter. USC had this game in control. USC was right where they needed to be at halftime. You weren't way behind. You were fine. Came out in the second half, gave it away. 2 picks, couldn't stop the run, nothing. And it's just it's a situation where Year after year, we get the sales pitch on, oh, Lincoln doesn't have enough. Oh, USC is back. Oh, God. Man, USC, they're getting better, Monty. They're learning how to tackle, Monty. They're a better defense this year because he put another person who I don't give a damn who it is because you can't tackle. You cannot tackle. The guy is an offensive coordinator, not a head coach. Stop telling me this guy's national championship good because he's not. And I don't want to hear that nonsense anymore.
He's national championship
This
good.
guy is not even close to national championship good. Not even close. It's unacceptable. You just played a team that doesn't have a quarterback that can beat you down the field, and you gave up 9.5 yards a carry to the best person on their offense.
Yeah, you did.
You should be fired, dude. You should be absolutely fired.
They shouldn't fire Lincoln Riley. They definitely should not fire Lincoln Riley because, one, his buyout is the size of Preston Stone's phallic unit.
You're USC. Who cares? You have all the money in the world, dude.
It's $82 million.
Who cares?
You can't fire him. And I agree that if you fired Lincoln Riley because you didn't have talent, they have the number 1 recruiting class in the country. And now it's projected they'll have the number 1 recruiting class 3 straight years. He's dominating in the portal. This is uniquely a Lincoln Riley problem. You cannot fire him. It's $82 million.
Then be good losing to Notre Dame. Be good with it.
I don't think it's even losing to Notre Dame because we're amazing. I think the biggest issue is
it's a joke.
The biggest issue is that they didn't. It's not that they couldn't tackle; they got blown off the football. In Notre Dame, our offensive line has been average all year. That's what should be upsetting. And I don't know how you fix it. There's probably no fixing it. What I'm telling you is you're not going to fire Lincoln Riley because it's $82 million, and he has an enormous recruiting class. But I agree with you. You should not expect Lincoln Riley to travel time zones and win games. The stat now is he is 2-11 in games where he has to travel multiple time zones. If USC has to stay in the West or stay in the Mountain Region, he's going to win games.
But doesn't that mean he's not a national championship guy?
It does. It probably does. And I think that's a tough pill to swallow. But when you're USC and you're in the financial situation that they're in because of what the administration's done to federal funding, which is taking it all away to pay for their tax cut, you're going to have a lot of trouble paying a guy $82 million not to coach your football team who recruits well, he dominates in the portal, and he just can't travel to win big games. That sucks. It's rough. It's not like he's Dabo Swinney. It's not like he is Brian Kelly, right? I mean,
what does that mean?
Dabo Swinney doesn't want to use the portal. He wants high school kids he can bully.
Right, but I'd rather have Dabo Swinney than Lincoln Riley because there's one national championship.
You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind, dude. Dabo Swinney is so far from competent.
But what is Lincoln at this point? That's great. You got portals.
Lincoln Riley is putting you in a position that, dude, they went to South Bend and they only lost by 10 in terrible weather conditions. I agree. A loss is a loss. They're not getting shellacked. They're not getting embarrassed. They're competitive in every game. Lincoln Riley, and the thing that I think people at USC get frustrated with is you clearly see improvement. But USC is the only game that they care about in the regular season. They care about beating USC more than they care about beating UCLA. Oh, did I mention that it pisses SC fans off that Jerry Neuheisel has figured out their offense and they look really good? These are the issues that are plaguing Lincoln. You're not firing him, and it's an $82 million buyout, and he's got a wild amount of talent coming in. And I would also point out the Coliseum is full. It's a very, like with Lincoln, it's different than it is with Dabo, who keeps telling you everything he's ever accomplished. Dabo is doing press conferences, and they're all over the internet. Go watch his recent press conference. We've won national championships here. Okay, that's great. You're a shell of that program. You're not talented. And again, I'm just going to keep being undefeated on quarterbacks on this show. And last night when Jake was sleeping and I may have passed gas on his head, it's because I wanted to let him know that Cade Klubnik sucks. Sucks is strong. But it's average ass Aller. It is Cade Klubnik is not a guy that you want to hand the football to and ask him to carry your football team. You can't have Bryce Underwood stand in the pocket and deliver a football and think you're going to win. He needs to be a dual threat. Jaden Mayava, Lincoln Riley is absolutely top-siding Jaden Mayava. Like, he is getting every ounce that cat's got. I'm not even sure I can make a compelling argument today, right now, that you should fire Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, I just think, I understand the money. I get it. I get it. But I don't think, I'm tired of the narrative that Lincoln is somehow an elite head coach. I think he's a good head coach. He'll give you an entertaining offense. He'll fill your building up for sure.
Yes.
He's a good recruiter. But what for, though? We do this every year. We did it last year. We did it the year before. I remember specifically having this conversation after the Penn State game last year. You gave the game away late again and again and again. And I agree. A lot of it was up front for sure. But there were a ton of times where you just missed tackles. You just didn't. And Mayava turning it over twice is, dude, you can't have it both ways. This is the Kyle Whittingham discussion. If you're going to be an offensive-sided club, you got to play damn near a perfect game offensively. You can't have 2 turnovers on the road. You can't have, you can't play that way and expect to win games. And it's I'm not even a USC fan, but what bothers me so much is what we're doing in college football right now. Elite program, Texas Tech, we're undefeated. Everything's amazing. Oh, you got humbled. Lost a game. Joey's not so good anymore, is he? Now he's got to reprove himself. Now the team's got to double down. You got to win again.
Maybe we should stop talking about tortillas and start talking about quarterbacks.
Yeah, so that bothers me with Tech. It bothers me with USC that it's every year in the preseason we hear about, oh man, he's got a top recruiting class, ton of talent. It's USC.
Oh, there's a burnout factor without question.
It's hot blondes and awesome football. But then you get to a game where, and listen, if this had been top tier SEC team, this had been okay, now we've got a good result. Notre Dame's a really good team. Yes, 2-loss team. Yes, probably
desperate, playing for its life.
Yeah, playing for its life, no question about it, right? But it's just at some point, this dude's got to figure out how to get over the hump of, hey, we're down 1 at the half. Could have been down more. You're down 1 at the half.
Could have been leading.
Yeah, could have been leading for sure. I agree with that. And you just can't figure it out. And it just I don't like the double standard that we're doing in college football. And I'm really and this is the bigger conversation. I'm really sick and tired of this buyout crap. We're talking about $82 million in a buyout, $52 million here, $60
It'd
there.
be the second largest buyout in the history of college football.
This is the beast you've created. When you do rev sharing and you do all the ad dollars and you want to talk private equity, dude, it's part of doing business. And I agree completely with what you've said a million times about federal funding cuts, and that's really hurt people's bottom line, and that's protecting some of these guys. I agree with that. But you don't get to have it both ways. You can't try to sell yourself as an elite football program if you're willing to not win national championships because of the buyout.
You're not wrong. Listen, you're not wrong. And I think we just have to understand Lincoln Riley's football team is not a bad football team. They're not good enough defensively. And they have an elite defensive coordinator who is going to get interviews for head coaching jobs this year. The biggest issue is they were not talented enough defensively. They're much better defensively this year than last year. Like, you look at their offensive numbers, they gave up 300 yards on the ground, and I think they lost the time of possession by 4 minutes and 5 seconds. You look at how their defense is, the want to and the compete. I mean, they lose by 10 points, and they don't score a point in the fourth quarter. Their defense wasn't necessarily the issue. I feel like Notre Dame was just a better team, and that's hard to say because I think Notre Dame had a quarterback who couldn't compete. That's the Do you guys understand that Notre Dame threw for 136 yards in this game and won against USC, who threw for 328 yards? I'm telling you, they're competing. Jake taking on SFU fan, love it. Well, there's a lot. And I think it's very difficult when you look at some of these jobs. Mike Norvell's was a $57 million buyout on Norvell. And if we're going to get into these conversations about who to fire and who to keep, these are some rough conversations. It's not going to be easy. Mapes, who's been a member for 26 months. The rectory curse lives on. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. David Persons, Cy, at least TCU won the revivalry game, barely. True. Can Gary Patterson do a Bill Snyder and come back? Is TCU a good job if they fire Sonny?
Yes. It's a good job.
And I continue to say this. Every coach that gets fired in this league, it makes it much more difficult for Oklahoma State to compete. Because if TCU's open, it's a far better job than Oak State.
Mm-hmm.
Far better job, far better market, more attractive university, more attractive success. But you look at some of these jobs, like I look at the Billy Napier Florida job. I think it's the best available job right now. Of the jobs that are open, I think it's the best available job. And I think when you look at the available candidates, James Franklin, if work keeps it real, James Franklin should do everything he could do to get to Virginia Tech. I think he can win at Virginia Tech. And there's no pressure for him to win a national championship. And my question is, because they're going to fire Mike Norvell the way that Florida fired Billy Napier. And I think, like, when you look at LSU, should LSU fire Brian Kelly? That's a huge buyout. That is another one where when you look at the buyout with Brian Kelly, it's $62 million on a guy who's not doing a bad job. He's just not doing a good job. But you know what he is doing? He's doing exactly what he did at Notre Dame. But he's finding out how good the SEC is.
Yeah, I think the hard part is they're not relevant. That's the problem. They're not relevant anymore. Like, you're just burning days here, bro. You're just burning games off the calendar, man. And that to me is, I don't know. I think that the once vaunted college football coach is no longer that same guy. I think reputations are taking massive hits. BK, Lincoln Riley, Mike Norvell, but James Franklin certainly.
But was James Franklin ever legendary?
He wasn't legendary, but he had them right there multiple times. I mean, at least with James Franklin, you were relevant all the way down to the end. I mean, and you got there once. Like, at least there's that. At least, you weren't winning national championships. I agree with that. I mean, he's not that good, but not. I mean, how many coaches in college football are actually capable of winning a national championship?
5.
That's it. So for most of these programs, it's best available. Like, it's best available. The objective is to get to the CFP. From there, it is what it is.
Can you win a national championship at Florida?
Yes.
Yes, you can. Can you win a national championship at Penn State?
Yes.
Can you win a national championship at Arkansas?
I mean, in theory.
I don't know that they have the money. Can you win a national championship at Oak State?
No.
No, you can't. Can you win a national championship at Virginia Tech?
Yes.
UCLA?
Yes.
Stanford?
Certainly.
Proven they can. And that's why I asked the question. What's the best available job? It's not close. It's Florida.
It's Florida by a mile.
Number 2, I think there's a real argument for UCLA and Stanford. I think Penn State I just think there is a poison around Penn State that I don't know that you can fix. And if you asked me, Florida or Penn State, don't even get out of here. It's Florida. Stanford or Penn State? With Andrew Luck as the general manager of Stanford football and $100 million war chest to pay coaches, because that's allegedly what they have, I think Stanford's the second best job. I'm not convinced. If Stanford's going to spend in the next 12 months $500 million on football, I'm not convinced Florida or Penn State will compete at that level. Or excuse me, UCLA or Penn State will compete at that level.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is number 1, Florida, number 2, Stanford, number 3, Penn State.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only problem with that is, does Stanford actually do that? Is there they're in position to do it, and they have the money. But we all know this. We've seen this in sports repeatedly. It's one thing to talk a big game. It's another thing to go out and scratch those checks. And I think if you're a top candidate, going to Stanford certainly is an unconventional approach. It's small town. It's super high academic standards.
Is it small town though?
Yeah, I mean, it's smaller than any other major jobs. It's not LA, obviously.
It's not San Francisco and the Bay Area.
Yeah, I guess. Optics, is it? I don't think people think Stanford and think the Bay Area.
Oh, I think everybody thinks Northern California. I totally disagree. I think the small job in the Bay Area is Cal, unfortunately. Just because they're not relevant, and they've got this unbelievable quarterback. I don't think Stanford's a small job. And I think you look at how it propelled Jim Harbaugh forward. I think you look at the ability to recruit scholastically. That's probably the biggest thing. But you look at where Palo Alto is, where do all their graduates go? Oh, that's right. They don't leave because of Apple and Intel and all of the jobs, all of the money. Like, it's not a tough sell for football recruits. I'll be honest with you. It is. And Christian McCaffrey's talked about this going back to the 49ers. He loves it. And that's why I think it is. Yeah. And this is the number one question. If you want to hear something crazy, if Notre Dame's a university where a 4.0 doesn't get you into the university, if you have just straight A's across the board in high school and you don't take honors courses, you don't take higher ed courses, you just normal high school curriculum, 4.0 does not get you into Notre Dame. Do you guys understand that having a 4.0 with honors courses does not get you into Stanford? So you take all AP and honors courses and you get straight A's. Do you understand that's not enough to get into Stanford?
What is?
You have to have volunteer stuff. You have to have mentorships. You have to, like, the process of just getting academically down the pipeline to talk to an advisor. Okay, football gets you to skip all that, right? That's what Stanford football, they have the ability to just pull you out of line, put you right in front. And then you have to write multiple papers and do multiple interviews still to get into Stanford football. At Notre Dame, if you're a 4.0, Marcus can go in there, pull you out and say, okay, hey, this is my linebacker. And you have to do an interview with the academic panel. And then you have to interview with advisors to make sure that you're a fit. At Stanford, you have to perform. That's how crazy and difficult it is to get in at Stanford, even if you're an elite football player. Palo Alto is 100% in the Bay Area. It's closer to Levi Stadium than San Francisco. Well, yeah, no doubt about it. It is. Look, we used to live there. We both know where Palo Alto is. Trust me.
Yeah, bro. I didn't say I wasn't speaking on where it's located on a map, bro.
Yeah.
I'm talking about selling a Florida kid on Stanford, selling a Texas kid on Stanford. I don't think that's just, oh, yeah, cakewalk. No problem. But not an issue. I'll go play for a program that hasn't won a national championship in 50 years.
Well, when is Penn State?
Yeah, but Penn State's been relevant. They've been in the CFP.
Truth.
So at least there's that. I mean, they haven't won a national champion. I don't know, man. I think I'm not convinced Stanford's better. I think it's a good opportunity, but the person who goes there has to resurrect it. Like, there has to be success and relevance, and you have to prove that they are actually invested.
I think there is a belief that Penn State is going to have a financial drag on James Franklin's payout. That's why, and this has been well reported, but Penn State is making it known that James Franklin's buyout includes an offset. And that if he goes and gets a job, whatever he makes annually on that salary comes out of his buyout at Penn State.
Well, then he's required to be looking for a job.
They're making that known, which tells you Penn State isn't all in to buy out James Franklin at any cost so they can put the best coach they can. See, I don't buy that. And this is why I continue to say Marcus Freeman. I just don't think Marcus is a candidate for that job. The buyout they would have to pay Notre Dame on top of paying Marcus, I think he just signed a contract less than a year ago. It's why I continue to tell you he's not leaving Notre Dame. It's not happening. And I look at Matt Rule. How bad was that loss? Right? So we look at these jobs, and I think people are like, oh, Penn State's a much better job. Is it a much better job? You just had a coach get fired with really good recruiting class, really good everything, except he can't win big games. And now if you go to Stanford, where there's a history of winning big games, and now they're going to spend allegedly $500 million in the next year. So you're going to have NIL money, scholarship money, all of it.
Let's say that you're as relevant as Texas Tech right now.
Mm-hmm.
Not in CFP yet, but theoretically on track.
Yeah.
Does that, if this time next year Stanford is in the exact same spot Tech is right now, then I think it's a different conversation. But I don't know. I think the reality with Stanford is it depends who you ask. I think there are jobs that fall into a pool that are like auto yes. Ohio State, Texas, Bama, Georgia, Florida. There's those jobs that are just like, yep, no doubt about it. That's a great job. Ain't even going to think twice about it. We'll figure out the house. Right. But then you have other jobs where
Stanford,
Notre Dame, BYU. If you're James Franklin, as an example, your next job is incredibly important, especially considering you went on game day and said that you were going to win a national championship somewhere else. Does Vatek, just as an example, have the palate to go out and do what's required to win a national championship? And that's where I say, like, theoretically, yes, Enter Sandman's legendary. Everyone knows about it. It's an incredible vibe there. Like, theoretically, you've got the goods. But I look around and I say, dude, like, you're talking about, like, can you imagine James Franklin taking the Stanford job? Let me get this right. We've got a program that hasn't won a national championship in a while and hasn't been relevant, paired with a guy who doesn't know how to win a national championship.
I can't imagine him getting the Stanford job because of his history and the scandals he's had at program.
And there's that.
I think when I look at Stanford, and the thing that really stands out to me, and I know nobody gives a rat's ass about this, but you go look at the ability to recruit the private religious high schools, modern day schools like Modern Day. That's why Stanford was really good. And you look at the caliber of student that they get. That's my opinion is I think Stanford's going to throw money at a name coach, and that name coach is going to do quite well there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who that is, but I think Stanford's one of the best open jobs. I think Penn State just has a lot of hangover right now. You have and again, I go back to location.
Mm-hmm.
Where they are is University Park is a really tough place to recruit to because there's not a lot there. There is not a lot there, and I think it's going to be an uphill battle for Penn State to get a league candidate. I really, really do. And I think the pressure is going to be immense, because one of the things I think is interesting was, I can't remember who said it on one of the talking head shows. You just fired James Franklin. Can you, and I know I said this the other day, I think it was on McAfee's show today. Or no, you know what? It was Nick Saban on game day. Are you going to be able to sell the next coach that you're not going to do the same thing to him when James Franklin pretty much won everything in the last calendar year and lost to Notre Dame in the national semi? And you said that wasn't good enough. He had no grace period, and you paid him a massive buyout. What are you going to tell the next coach if his name's not Matt Rule?
That's why you have a buyout? Get the job done, or you're not going to be here?
I think that's a very tough thing to sell.
No,
I understand why LSU would fire Brian Kelly. I understand, you look at the list of guys that are potentially on the block. Clemson firing Dabo, totally understand why you would do that. Hugh Freeze getting fired at Auburn, totally understand why you would do that. I think one of the things that continues to be fascinating about Pet OU, can you improve James Franklin?
Yeah, I think we should talk about this for a minute. So this concept of, hey, what message does it send to the next candidate of Penn State that you fired James Franklin after he won everything except for the national championship, and you did it in the middle of the season? Okay, well, I think it sends the message that nothing but the best is acceptable, one, which is a good thing.
Right, but do coaches want to hear that?
Well,
I'm being dead ass serious.
I don't think you should want a coach who doesn't want to hear it. I don't want to hire an average ass coach. I don't want to hire a coach that has any issue with, hey, because James Franklin was 12 years in. If we're, I'm sure they'll give the next guy a 4-year contract, 3-year contract.
No, it's going to have to be 7 years, 5 to 7 year contract. How are you going to take the Penn State job on a 3-year deal? You're not taking a 3-year deal to go to Penn State. That's outrageous. Because coaches want stability. That's why buyouts are the thing that they
business,
are,
bro. You can't ask for, in my opinion, when you're negotiating, right, in today's college football climate, I don't think you can ask for, a 5 to 7 year deal, and obviously it's candidate dependent, but whatever a reasonable buyout would be, call it $60 million, because it seems like everything is between 50 and 80 million right now. So call it a $60 million. You can't ask for a $60 million buyout, a guarantee that if I fail, I get paid. And
the standard buyout is 90% of the balance of my contract.
Yeah, see, I just think that's too much. If you want 5 to 7 years, I'm not giving you 90% of your contract. You need to earn 5 to 7 years, bro.
I think that's crazy. I think
but how
because
would that be
that's
crazy?
the market for coaches.
Yeah, well,
look at what Kurt Signetti got.
You don't think that, but why did he get that?
Because he's in
good standing with Indiana, and they were desperate to keep him.
I think that's true. They were desperate to keep him.
So that to me is a unique situation. I agree it affects the market, but with Penn State and with Florida, because I also think Florida is in a similar position, but different because of the lack of success. You're gonna go in there as a candidate, you're going to have to sell these guys on why you deserve the buyout you are asking for, and why it is that I would never give a head coach 7 years. You want to give him 5? Okay, I guess I can get down with that. I understand it takes a few years to get going. I get it. But I just have a lot of trouble with these head coaches. It's like NBA money, dude. I'm going to go in, I'm never going to play, and I'm going to get paid hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yes.
I have a huge problem with it in college football, dude. Like, at least in the NBA.
Well, I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, I mean, it's monopoly money in the NBA. It's monopoly money in professional sports. These owners are billionaires for a reason. It just came out that the Dodgers ownership group, with the Ohtani contract, $700 million, they made that back the first season.
Yes.
So let's stop pretending that $700 million is a lot of money to these guys, because it's not. But to institutions and universities, when you're sitting here making a change because you're not winning at the level you want to be winning at, number one, you're taking for granted on some level the position that you're in, because you could be Oak State, you could be Baylor, You could be UCF. I mean, you could be.
Yeah, but if you're at Penn
like,
State or if you're at Florida or whatever the university is, you don't look at yourself that way. You don't even, that doesn't even cross your mind. When you're at Penn State, you think you are the best football program in the history of Epstein Island. You think you are amazing.
Right.
You're going to call everybody.
Yep.
And then you're going to get down to the list of people who are available. And if you call Matt Rule, he's taken the job. So he's going to be your last call. But if you look at Lane Kiffin, if you're Penn State, how do you even call Lane Kiffin?
What do you mean?
I don't think Lane Kiffin would even consider the Penn State job.
I think you still got to call him. No?
I think you do. But my point is, Penn State can't just call any coach. You're not calling Nick Saban. Are you out of your mind? If I look at Florida, Florida can pick up the phone and call Dan Lanning. Penn State cannot. You can't get a real.
Can Penn State call them?
I think Penn State is going to have to call top assistant candidates. I think you're not, because Nick Saban's not, I don't think Nick Saban's coming out of retirement, but there's a whole group of Florida boosters trying to put together a $250 million 5-year war chest for Nick Saban, who doesn't want to use the portal and doesn't want to coach in this modern era of college football. But if you're Florida and you call Nick Saban and you say, we have a $250 million war chest for you and a 5-year contract, Nick Saban's going to have to go talk to the wife because that's a serious offer. But it's the SEC and it's Nick Saban and it's Florida. And they can have any coach they want because Dan Lanning's answering the phone for Florida. Mm-hmm. Lane Kiffin's answering the phone for Florida. Mm-hmm. Eli Drinkwitz is answering the phone for Florida. Those are probably the 3 top coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Is Lane Kiffin a candidate at Vodtech?
No, it's probably too high.
Yeah. Is Dan Lanning a candidate at, okay, let's say Clemson fires a bunch of dudes. And
Clemson is assistant U. I don't think people
totally agree.
Yeah, I don't think that the top jobs in the ACC are Miami and Florida State. Those are the two you want to be at. Clemson,
Stanford.
I think it depends who you ask.
I think that, and this is your point. I don't think Dan Lanning even wants to talk to Stanford. Lane Kiffin, Drinkwitz, those guys don't want to talk because it's intimidating to have to deal with those academic standards. So what are you going to have to do to get those guys to answer your call? Now, here's $100 million deal over 6 years.
And
you're going to have to pay him. You're going to have to pay him an extraordinary amount of money.
I think it's the total money of the deal, but also the buyout.
The structure of the buyout.
Yeah, the structure of the buyout.
So my point is, in all of this to say, I think the singular best job is Florida. Mm-hmm. Number one, not close. Their boosters are absolutely bloodthirsty, and they've got a ton of money that they're willing. Because again, I want to make this very clear. Billy Napier just got fired. Do you know how many people are getting paid because of that?
Well, and how many people knew that was coming too? Because I think it's pretty well known.
His entire staff is on guaranteed contracts, as all of them are. You've got to pay all of his assistants, his general manager, his infrastructure.
But see,
I
think I agree with that though. That assistants and people other than the head coach should be on guaranteed deals because their fate is tied to the head coach.
Yes. Look at Mike Norvell. Look at Mike Norvell with a $54 million buyout.
Yeah, see, and this is, to me, this is just an irresponsible situation. I mean, Mike Norvell, with all due respect, when you hired him, that was not exactly the sexiest hire in my opinion.
But you just paid Willie Taggart. You guys remember the disaster that was Willie Taggart at Florida State? You guys remember that? And now you've got to pay Billy Napier. Terrible hire. And so is it any wonder why Florida fans are like, oh, please, Urban, please come back. Bring your hot bar girlfriend. We'll take care of her. It's wild to me. It is wild to me. So when you start looking at the numbers, it's incredible when you start looking at guys like Norvell, who's at 54, Brian Kelly at 62 million. If Brian Kelly gets fired at LSU, who calls him? Stanford calls Brian Kelly. Because why? He was at Cincinnati, Notre Dame. Both of them have academic standards. Both of them are incredibly difficult to recruit the top talent in the country to. And Stanford's a perfect fit for Brian Kelly. I'm telling you, it is, and it's $62 million. Is anybody hiring Dabo Swinney?
Somebody will.
You know who would hire him? Virginia Tech. They would love Dabo Swinney. And I think Dabo would love to go beat Clemson. Like, it's crazy, but, you know. See, I get fired up for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm tired of hearing about all the woe is me talk out of these schools, dude. You guys are putting these contracts together. You guys are the one that allowed the market to get here. You guys are the one that put together 90% buyouts. That's on the universities and not on the candidates. The candidates are worth what someone's willing to pay them. And that's what upsets me so much about this victimhood mentality with these buyouts, dude. Like, don't talk to me about USC or Penn State or any of these schools. They're like, oh man, dude, gosh, this is how his buyout structure works, and he damn well better be, he better be looking for a job. What do you mean he better be looking for a job? If I'm James Franklin, I'm going to have my attorney apply for some jobs, and I'm not doing anything but golfing and sitting on the couch. Like, what do you like? What kind of contract structure even is that, dude?
One that was negotiated by a great agent, but that's what universities have to pay now. You don't have a choice. You do not have a choice but to pay that kind of bread, dude. Because if you can't pay a significant buyout, you will not have a significant coach.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
I'm not saying you're wrong. All I'm saying
I'm
is
never
that,
wrong.
is that
and I'm good looking.
I'm just sick and tired of the hypocrisy around money in college football. It gets old, man.
Yep. Two pants. After Tom Osborne retires, Frank Solich comes in and is good, but not great. Nebraska fired him. Then Nebraska struggled to get great coaches for the next 20 years. Remember, I talked about Frank Solich the other day. Yeah, can't hurt for any team to call and see if anyone would be interested in the job, even through third parties. Worst that can be said is no. Yeah. But
yeah, high contact sport, right?
Yeah, I think that's tough. Evidently, Auburn called Lane Kiffin and he told them to shit in a hat.
Okay.
Lane Kiffin's not going to Auburn. Auburn's not a good job. I'm just going to keep saying that. Lane Kiffin's going to be the next head coach at Florida, or I don't think he's leaving Ole Miss, because Ole Miss now is getting new facilities and they're winning. And you look at again, I'm just going to keep talking about Trinidad Chambliss. You look at what that cat's doing. Lane Kiffin. It's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine about the Oregon job, because I think Dan Lanning's going to leave Oregon. I think the next major cycle, when you have a massive SEC job come open, Florida's calling Lane Kiffin, and then they will call other people. If Florida calls Dan Lanning, I promise you he will leave Oregon, because Dan Lanning is acutely aware of what you guys hate that I say all the time. If Florida gets Dan Lanning and he recruits a Dante Moore, and he brings in his guys, Tosh Lapoy, and they get talented the way they're talented at Oregon, they can get better talent to go to Gainesville than they can to nowhere, Oregon. With all due respect to Eugene. Eugene's about 13 feet wide and 25 feet tall. And there's nothing but trees, dude. And I think if you said to Kevin, the amazing cornerback, hey, why don't you come join me in Gainesville? Yeah, sorry, man. I think I'm going to go to Eugene instead. Anybody know who the footwear sponsor is at Florida?
Some guy that was good at basketball, I think.
It's Jordan. Do you guys know? And I think this is important. Did you guys see how many recruits were at Notre Dame? And this hurt my balls. Honestly, my balls still ache right now. Who's the footwear and apparel sponsor at Notre Dame? Under Armour. How many kids were wearing Jordan Brand jumpsuits on the sideline at Notre Dame? Almost all of them.
Here,
Who do you think gave that to him? Oh, Jordan Brand did. And why? Because most people believe that Jordan Brand is doing NIL deals or NIL deals under the table to funnel recruits to their universities. So when you see Notre Dame not being able to land a track star at wide receiver, or Utah is a great example of this. Why do you think kids go to BYU instead of Utah? I'm not kidding. Nike will push kids to BYU over Utah. Nike will push kids to Oregon over Utah because kids want Jordans. I'm 52 years old, and I'm sitting in front of probably almost 100 pairs of Jordans right now. And it twitches every morning when I pick out which pair I'm going to wear. What do you think that's like for an 18-year-old kid who can run a 4 flat? You think I'm kidding? I'm not. And I think the hardest part is that Florida and Oregon get so much help from Nike and Jordan. Like, did you see UCLA? UCLA more than Oregon. Did you see that UCLA has the most player edition football cleats? And did you see that all of the kids who go to UCLA now are getting top technology? They're having their feet molded in the summer. So spring football ends, kids, and now it's going to change because one transfer portal. But the last 2 years, Jordan and Nike showed up, and they did this at Oregon too. And now they're doing it at UCLA. But UCLA is molding every football player's foot, and they're getting their own P edition cleats. Do you think that matters to a 21-year-old who hasn't been able to afford a pot to piss in, let alone a pair of Jordans? And now every Jordan he gets at UCLA is going to be molded custom for his foot. That's why I say, like, hey, anybody know who the apparel sponsor at Penn State is? Not Jordan, not Nike anymore. They just went to Adidas.
Y'all feel me?
I'm telling you it matters. And so I'm just going to keep going round and round on this thing. Florida is the number one available job. And I will die on this hill. Nike is funneling kids to Oregon and Florida. And UCLA gets a lot of help as well.
Yeah.
Domer, have you seen Auburn State, James?
I know what time it is.
God, you're insufferable. Stanford is a poverty university. They don't even have a Subway on campus. Can you believe they went Jersey Mike's in Palo Alto?
Unbelievable.
Those scumbags.
Unbelievable. They had to save money for the buyout, dude.
So I've told you guys this story. Like when I was at KGO Radio in San Francisco, I used to do gang unit ride-alongs in the middle of the night. And Palo Alto is right next to East Palo Alto, which is one of the murder capitals of the country. And the crazy part is, when you see like that dirty water where the oceans meet, have you ever seen that? And there's a hard line, muddy water on one side, clean water on the other side. That's exactly what it's like in Palo Alto. You do not cross the street into Palo Alto because you won't come back. It is amazing the line that money creates in society. East Palo Alto, we were driving down a street. True story, 100%. San Mateo County gang unit. There's like this 5-block stretch in East Palo Alto. It's 2 a.m. And it's gangs over here. This block is this gang. That block is this gang. Nobody goes down this street because the Hells Angels own this block of East Palo Alto. Their clubhouse is right in the middle of the street. We don't even drive down that street. And what did that street look like? Well lit, beautiful trees, clean, very nice cars parked on that street. Next block over, dark as night. Like no street lights, nothing. There was, and I want to say it was probably like a rusted out Chevelle. So we go on that block, nothing happens. And we're doing this slow crawl down the street in a Yukon. We turn right, skip the Hells Angels block, turn right on the next block, and we're slow crawling down this street. And the cop yells, "Gun!" And they slam on the brakes. They sprint into this garage, and they come out with these two young Latino kids. The Latino kids were standing guard, and the cops saw the barrel of a gun glisten off of a street light, sticking out of the top corner of a garage. And in that garage was a bunch of dope, bunch of scales, bunch of dudes, bunch of guns. We didn't take anything but the two kids and one gun. Like, that's what life in East Palo Alto is. And about 0.7 of a mile away, boom, hard stop, rich people on that side of the street, and don't even think about it. Like, it is one of the craziest places you will ever go to. And the respect that money in the Bay Area has is crazy.
And I'll see you in Valhalla.
It is. It's absolutely crazy. Reggie, who's been a member for 14 months.
Hey, Reggie.
And we still don't get to see your screen names, by the way. You notice that? Like,
yeah, Amazon outage must be prolific still.
I'm telling you, it's not ideal.
Reginald.
Jimmy Sexton finessed so many teams when Saban retired. Yes, he did. But that's what you want. You want to get paid, right? You want to get paid. It's crazy. John Famlor, I don't know. Florida has never really had the very top wide receivers.
Bro, dude, I don't know.
You guys, look, I like you guys.
What are we doing, bro? I like
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Dude, what are you talking about that Florida's never had top receivers?
Well, who's the first one that's going to come to mind?
Jesus.
Who's the first one that's going to come to mind? How about Aaron Hernandez? Aaron Hernandez any good? And it's interesting. I was listening to Rob Gronkowski on a podcast, and I think I sent you this link. Rob Gronkowski on a podcast was talking about Aaron Hernandez. And just the fact that he was amazing. And how talented he was. And you start looking at the wide receivers, and you start to understand that not only have they put guys into the NFL, and not only has Jaquez Green, not only Travis Taylor, not a good wide receiver. Are you kidding me? Jabbar Gaffney, not a good wide receiver. Rashae Caldwell, yeah, he sucks too. Taylor Jacobs, he's awful. Right? Like, the list is Chad Jackson, yeah, he sucked. Do you guys understand that not only is Percy Harvin a Florida alum, Lewis Murphy, Florida. Hello, Riley Cooper, Florida. Like, the list of talented, fast guys. The greatest thing about coaching in Florida is the amount of talent, and every one of those dudes runs 4.2. Like Demarcus Robinson, yeah, he sucks.
Garbo.
Like, are you out of your mind? Van Jefferson, he sucks. Bro, they have Kadarius Toney. Come on, dude. Like, I can keep going down. Ricky Pearsall, he sucks. You just look up, man. Trust that they don't win, and the amount of talent that is on their NFL alumni is incredible. It is.
Yeah, bro.
Florida puts dudes in the NFL. It is Famlor. The Tongans actually help Palo Alto high school football teams generally be decent. I could not tell you about the Tongans. I think the famous 80s movie Colors was based on East Palo Alto, dude. It's crazy. It is. Yeah, EPA don't play. It's crazy. Dude, he was a tight end. Are you sure? Do you guys understand that Aaron Hernandez played wide receiver for the Patriots? Because they had Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, he sucked too.
Who,
He was terrible.
When they were on the team together, Rob couldn't get on the field on tight end because Aaron Hernandez was so good. So they moved Aaron Hernandez to wide receiver. Anybody remember what number he wore? 81. Yeah. Not a wide receiver. Exactly. You guys are crazy if you think that they don't have wide receivers. Like, do you guys remember, like, if we just look at the numbers, do you guys remember how good Aaron Hernandez is? I was looking at this the other day, listening to Gronk on that podcast. When you look at, and obviously the story of Aaron Hernandez is he was a murdering fool. Aaron Hernandez only played 3 years in the NFL. 1,900. Yeah, he sucks so bad. 1,956 yards, 18 touchdowns. And you look at that, he had in 3 seasons 175 catches. Like the guy was absolutely dominant.
He was a unit, dude.
Yeah. I mean, he was an incredible football player. Incredible.
Haters gonna hate, bro.
Ike Hilliard, Percy Harvin, right? It's the amount of talent that and people don't believe me when I say this, and I talk about this all the time because I think it matters. The amount of high school football talent and track football talent in Florida is
deep.
Dude, you don't even know. You don't even know how good they are. Like, they're so fast. Gumby says Honda Civics drive into EPA and leave as Nissan Sentras. Yes, they do.
But do they get re-stickered into a better team?
Where is James here today? East Palo Alto is so scary. People drive Honda Civics.
Bro.
Should we tell people what we talked about with James over the weekend?
Yes. We had a really a heart to heart, really and James, you'll appreciate this, a come to Jesus moment about yourself.
Speaking of coming at Jesus, when all the hoes left and the Diddy party ended, we were sitting on the couch, talking about the show and whatnot. And we said, is this the week that we should give James a free pass for the stupid shit he's inevitably going to say?
His cock.
My vote was absolutely not. Jake was like, look, James and I are intimate.
In God's
friends.
name, image, and likeness.
We should give him a free pass. And then he doesn't show up for the show today.
He was here earlier, I think.
Okay. He's probably got he's
probably charting with Dana.
He's in the rectory. Yes, he is Dana. He is Dana has not entered the chat.
See.
Which is, it's fine. Joey Monty, is Colorado State a good G5 job? Yeah, they fired Jay Norvell.
Not a good week for the Norvell.
Not a good week for the Norvells. I don't know, because it's funny. I was talking to a guy last week about the status of the Pac-12, and people are genuinely starting to sweat that they don't have a TV deal, and that one has not
biggest
been
TV
announced.
deal ever. We're incredible, man. We're just the best. Wow.
Oh, that's right. I did say he's talking stadiums again. That's right.
Stay hard.
Because all Oak State James has is that's the best quarterback in the country. And oh my God, did you guys see their administration building?
Well, look, I mean, this next comment's pretty definitive, dude.
No free passes for James. I almost feel bad about it because I really like James. And James,
you're such a good dude, and your content is just incredible. And
he's a huge character on the show.
Man, wow.
Yeah, how about this Doug Martin story, you guys?
Dude.
Did you hear how he died?
No.
He had a medical event while in the custody of authorities. And this is starting to get ugly. He had an incident. He was in Oakland, California, and apparently cops were called to a residence where Doug was, and allegedly there was an incident at this house he was at. Call it a domestic, call it whatever you want. But so the cops have a brief altercation with him, at which point he became incapacitated. And an ambulance was called. They tried to help him, and he later passed away. And Doug Martin, 36 years old, I think, former NFL All-Pro, like a really good running back, like died in the custody of police. And it's like, well, damn. Is this a thing where he had a heart attack? Is this a thing where he had psychosis, CTE? Was there mental health? Was there drug use?
Who knows, man?
It's a really sad story, because when you start to understand that this guy was 36 years old and hadn't even lived yet, it just sucks. The whole thing sucks. And it's really sad and it's really tragic. And now it's being spun into a thing where somehow the cops in Oakland did him dirty. And I hope that's not what we remember Doug Martin for, because at Boise State, he was amazing. In the NFL, he was amazing. I think most people probably know him as a Tampa Bay Buck, but the guy just was a really interesting human being.
Yes.
And the idea that he died in the custody of law enforcement at 36 years old is not the picture I hope that has painted of him for the rest of his life. Because that's just, you don't want that for a guy. He's 36. I mean, it is, you're almost 36, you're 32. And think about it, he's 4 years older than you. And that's how young he is.
But again, without knowing details, trying to keep it generalized.
No, the tortilla issue is not silly. It's not silly.
Man.
And again, Texas Tech fan, if you're just tuning into the show, let's reset it. I really want people to understand this issue at Texas Tech is a big flipping deal. And Texas Tech fan wants to continue to come on the show and say, oh, they just hate us. This one guy was like, you hate us because you ain't us. No, man, nobody hates Texas Tech. We're laughing at Texas Tech because you guys can't get out of your own way. And everything that's happening at Texas Tech is your own doing. And there's just no reason for it. Let's come back and talk Tortilla Gate after this from the Advocates.
Injured in an accident? You may be entitled to a bigger settlement, up to 3.5 times bigger. Your initial consultation is 100% free, and we don't get paid unless we win your case. No matter the accident, we are here to help. The Advocates will fight for you because you deserve clarity, you deserve justice, you deserve guidance, you deserve an advocate. Contact us today.
Indeed, you do deserve an advocate. You need to slide back a little bit. You do deserve an advocate at theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. You guys, I tell you all the time, when you've been in an accident, when you've been in a car,
My bad.
Touch me again.
Yeah, sorry.
Anyway, the point is, when you've been in an accident, you've been in a car accident, you got hit on your bike, you got hurt at work, you need somebody that can set you straight so you don't have to think clearly, because you're probably not going to be thinking clearly when you've been in a major accident. Clear, risk-free advice. That's what you get from the Advocates. Talk to them now, 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. And the best part is they fought this fight. They've not only fought the fight, they've won the fight. They fought insurance companies. They've handled the claims process. Let them handle the claims process for you. Don't you play that cough drop. Let them handle the claims process for you. You're such a jerk. Let them handle the claims process for you, and you never reach into your pocket to pay the Advocates. In fact, you don't pay the Advocates unless and until they win your case. So go find some compassion. Go find some grace, and go find somebody that's going to be a passionate defender of you. That's the Advocates. 24/7, 365. You can talk to a live attorney, not a chatbot, at theadvocates.com. Get in the comments section. Let's talk about this Texas Tech story, because I think it's really important. Texas Tech continues to battle this situation with tortillas being thrown on the field. And Texas Tech fan wants to roll into this show and say, well, you guys are just persecuting us because we're winning. That's not it, and you know that's not it. If you would just throw tortillas on the field one time, nobody would say anything. But what's happening? It's multiple times a game. It's water bottles, it's coins, it's other objects being thrown onto the visitor's sideline. So is it now against the rules? Is it against the rules to throw tortillas on the playing field? It's a lot more than that.
Beginning this week, here is the policy. The first time a tortilla is thrown on the field, there's a PA announcement that's required as a warning. The second time a tortilla is thrown on the field, and they changed it. It's not the field, it's the playing enclosure. So even if it hits the sideline, if it hits behind the end zone, if it's in the playing enclosure, that second strike, it's a 15-yard penalty and a $100,000 fine.
So is this not a big deal when your athletic director is being very passionate and direct, talking about please stop throwing tortillas?
The stakes are too high, and we need to help, not risk penalizing our team again for throwing tortillas. Simply, let's not do it. The situation is on me. I leaned into this of throwing tortillas at the beginning of the football season. Now I must ask everyone to stop, and I must ask our staff to enforce it on game days. I close and will turn it over to Coach McGuire by asking our students and our fans to continue to make Jones AT&T Stadium the best environment in college football. And I don't know how they will do it, but I am confident that our fans and our students are about to make the Jones even louder than it's ever been before.
Kirby Hoycutt, the athletic director at Texas Tech, begging you to stop throwing tortillas on the field. And the thing that I think is a big issue is, and this is, I know this is a society thing right now, like, well, we didn't do that. It's a tradition. We throw once a game. No, you don't. No, you don't. You know it. I know it, right? This is everybody who's like, oh, well, they fired Mike Leach. What a bunch of assholes. Well, Mike Leach did lock a kid in a Connex box, allegedly.
What?
So, like, I mean, you want to defend bad behavior, and you can't do that. You cannot do that. Nobody likes Mike Leach more than me. That guy was on my show tens of 30s of times. I love Mike Leach. But should he have done what he did? And I'm not going to name the kid because then we get into his dad. Should he have done what he did? Should he have treated that kid the way he did? No, he should not have. No, he should not have. Should you be throwing water bottles at the opposing team's sideline? No, you shouldn't. If you hadn't done that, would you still be able to throw tortillas once a game? Yeah, you would. But you Texas Tech fan, you won't own it. And if you'd say to yourself, we'll do it once a game, no fines, nobody will say another thing. But you guys can't do that. And now you're going to pay for it. Because now the eyes of the world are on you every time, and you're going to wind up coughing up 100 GER so you can be a jackass.
Yeah, and I just think it's not hard to understand. Like it's as simple as, hey, we're not going to throw stuff on the field or the playing surface or enclosure, and we're going to avoid any discipline because of that. And
exactly, right.
Tech fan wants to go to well, there's video of Kansas planting a knife, and I'm just like, dude, bro, why are we going full CIA tinfoil on this thing? This is not a difficult conversation,
no,
dude. We don't need nets. We don't need, videotapes and all this stuff. Like, just don't be an idiot. Like, just come to the game, enjoy the game, and that's it. Why do we need to put people's lives in danger? Why do we need to throw full water bottles? Why do we need to be asshats about it? We can't just go to a game and have a nice time. Like, my feeling is this is more about your pride from losing the game over the weekend than anything. And you just don't want to, you want to stand on business and, be a red ass about it. And I'm just telling you, again, I'm not going to feel sorry for you when you got, 100 G fines all over the place because you guys had no personal restraint. Sorry, dude. I'm not doing it, dude. I'm not.
Yeah, I think it's a huge problem. And until that problem gets fixed, you guys will continue to be victims of your own doing. You got to stop. Chicken wire? Come on now. God, I hope not. The games are long enough with the replays and commercials time. Let's add to it by throwing things on the field. But it is a tradition on some levels. It's not the tradition that Texas Tech fan would have you believe that this is a lifelong tradition and their kids have a birthright. No.
Your kids have a birthright?
No, they don't.
This isn't the Constitution, brother.
Right? Like it is wild to me how far-reaching the exaggerations of tortilla throwing. It was an ESPN slur, essentially, where it was said on ESPN that the only thing in Lubbock is this and that and the tortilla factory. And as you should, you took that personally, as you should. And so now you throw tortillas. I'm
knives
down.
And water bottles.
I'm
and
down.
Beer cans and,
Lancel, I told
lies,
Domer Wop, I suppose tortillas are better than beer bottles, I suppose. Blue corn tortillas, truth. It was wrong what they did to Joe Pa at Pedo State. Delusional school fans willing to defend anyone for anything. Truth.
Facts.
Truth. And I think we see that. I think we see that stuff all the time where people are willing to defend people for anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy to me. The Joe Paterno thing is probably the best example of it.
Yeah. Just willing to die on the hill for what?
Yeah.
For what?
An Epstein guy. For those who missed the full story, the issue is that some are throwing other objects. I just said that. No tortillas, no cover for the other objects. Exactly.
My word.
Some drunk West Virginia students had a tradition of burning couches after couches.
Whoa.
Hey, now.
Whoa.
After big wins, that was put to a stop for obvious reasons. Yeah, couches are expensive.
Yeah, what's the big deal, dude?
Fat Jesus. I'm in my 50s, went to college, earned a degree, and have years of successful leadership experiences. And now I'm publicly saying that, quote, the first time you throw a tortilla. Exactly. Exactly. The wave at Kinnick is a tradition. Okay. Are your Lions going to win tonight? I think your Lions are.
Well, they're the best team in the league. Of course they are.
I think your Lions are going to roll tonight. I think you're in a good spot. They're not nearly the best team in football.
What?
Not nearly. I mean,
what?
I don't know that it's close. I don't know what Jake told me we're not allowed to talk NFL on Mondays. He doesn't want to talk about it. So throw tortillas when the game is shown on Fox, or don't throw. Never mind.
Don't throw anything. I mean, I know that's a tough concept.
King of Thailand, Michigan also over vacuum guide. There you go.
Right.
Yeah. Never mind Matt Weiss and stuff. Time to see the Lions secondary doesn't get torched. Dude, I think you guys are going to win comfortably. Shouty. Hey, y'all. Okay. Can we talk about Arch? Monty, he sucks
What
balls.
is it? What's the excuse this week, dude?
Brother. He sucks, Marty.
Arch is the best quarterback we've ever seen, Monty.
I think, again, I'm just going to say, watching a good bit of the Arch Manning contest, rectally speaking.
Dirac.
I am not, how do I say this?
I personally believe.
Such as in like, it's Kentucky, man. And Texas did not get a scintillating performance out of Arch. He was horrendous. He impacted this game nil. I don't know how they won the game other than that defense is really good. Arch Manning is progressing. This was not an attractive performance. Bottom line is you're 5-2. You're in the picture for the college football playoff. You're probably out of the running. But you've got Mississippi State this weekend, Vandy at Georgia, Arkansas, Texas A&M. I don't know what Arch's headstone's going to say after the Georgia game because that Georgia defense looked much better this week.
Keeping a book right now, we ass.
But Sark's got to go get wide receivers. And Shouty, I don't know what you think. They got to go get wide receivers.
They're not going to the CFP, bro.
They're not. They got to go get wide receivers. There is no doubt about that. James, bet on the Lions. Please do.
Yeah.
Next thing, Kansas won't be able to throw red-headed chickens. BYU won't be able to throw magic underwater. West Virginia won't be able to throw their cousins.
You see what he did there? So that was like a mountain people reference, and
Domer, come on, man. In India, they have an annual festival, Gor
Just
Haba.
stop right there. India annual festival, Gor Haba,
where everyone splashes fecal matter onto each other. Stop complaining.
Dude.
Listen, here in Lubbock, we spread cow shit all over ourselves.
Because we don't have maps such as in so we just spread cow dung all over each other.
Can you imagine if the boys in Lubbock were like, let's just coat our body like Diddy?
Direct.
Can you guys deliver some crude? The sad thing is, Texas Tech is a great story. I thought he was about to break the Goodyear treaded knee pads and the throat lozenges for a glazing session. I was wrong for once.
Well, dude.
Okay.
I mean, you can only throat stretch on Arch for so long before the reality sets in, unfortunately.
Okay. You want a throat stretch? Is that what you MFers want to do? It's not nice that you guys say
throat stretch.
You guys say such mean things. You say such mean things. Jake, who's the best college football quarterback?
Probably Ty Simpson.
Did you change your mind?
Nah, I mean, he is. He's playing the best ball. He is. He's playing the best ball. I think the hard part is like, I think straight up, I put them both on the football field. I think him and Fernando Mendoza are pretty close. Talent-wise, ability to throw the ball, ability to run. Problem is that Ty Simpson plays in way bigger games more consistently.
You know who it's not?
ACC is the best. Miami. Oh, my God.
You fucking donkey.
Let me see. So Carson Beck, about 2 inches. Anyway, I just had a tape measure sitting there for whatever reason.
Bro.
Carson Beck. Again, Chaboy's undefeated on quarterbacks. I'm just going to continue to tell you guys. I'm sexy. Your mom absolutely
throat stretches.
Wants it.
Present.
And I'm just telling you that Carson Beck ain't that dude. 4 intercepciones. And I think when we get into the intergalactic planetary conversation about who sucks and who doesn't, Carson Beck's an average-ass quarterback. And when you look at Miami should have been undefeated this year. And then Braum and Louisville showed up on Friday night, and Carson Beck melted down 25 of 35. Hey, Mario, let me just give you some advice because I'm here to help you look like a dick. Maybe don't throw the ball more than 20 times when Carson Beck's your quarterback.
What's up, motherfuckers?
And Mark Fletcher's your running back. Mark Fletcher got 8 carries.
Who are you, the Eagles?
I'll never understand it. And Carson Beck is not a guy you want. You lost to Miller Moss.
And I'm supposed to feel like the ACC is worth anything.
Did I not ask on Friday if this was a game that Mario always loses?
Apologize to that man.
I believe all you a-holes.
Oh, Miami's got it in the bag, money.
You guys. I'm telling you right now. Miami is that dude.
You guys just hate Miami. This is a Texas Tech hating Utah show. Come on, dude.
Monty,
so easy.
You're just so jealous that Miami beat Notre Dame. Truth. That doesn't mean that Carson Beck is good. That doesn't mean he's good. And I will continue to tell you that Carson Beck is going to be the limitation. He is Gunnar Stockton. He is the ceiling on Miami Hurricanes football.
Yes.
The best quarterback in college right now is injured and waiting to make his grand entrance. Henji got that swagger, bitches. I mean, that could be Mike. See, that's where I need my stay hard. Are you going to program my mixer while you're here this week?
I'll think about it.
Stay hard.
Jerk. I mean, I am just going to tell you that the best quarterback in college football, and it is not close. I was sitting here this morning, quite literally forearm strengthening.
What's up, big bro?
Watching Ty Simpson, and it is remarkable how good he is. Depth of throw, probability of success on his throws, movement, timing. I mean, it is everything that you want.
Oh my God, just like that.
Yeah, I mean, it moves every time I watch him play. And I'm going to tell you, that dude is stupid good. And I don't even know how much more that I can say it. And listen, I understand that you guys want to crown his ass. There's only one guy who can possibly decleat him as the best quarterback in college football, and this is going to get crazy. It might be Julian Sayin at Ohio State. Dude, he is so good.
What, Diego Pavia is not doing it for you? Sorry, guys.
Why do you say stuff like
Listen, we're in a strange time.
Yeah, is it just pick on fat ass day? Is that why you say stuff like Diego
I personally
Pavia?
would like an apology.
No, that's for USC. Well, man, bro, let me tell you something. I've seen it like it already happened. SC's going to Notre Dame, and they're kicking Jesus in the dick this weekend. And let me tell you, here's how it's going to happen.
Hey, I was wrong. Sorry.
No. You? I think it is Ty Simpson 1, Julian Sayin 2, and Fernando Mendoza 3. And I think Fernando Mendoza will be the number 1 quarterback picked in the draft this coming time around. I know that is supposed to be average ass Aller.
One-legged average ass Aller.
Listen, I understand that. I just don't know shite from Shinola.
You don't know ball.
Right. But I am telling you that the guy, Ty Simpson is the dude. Now, I think Fernando Mendoza and probably Dante Moore will be picked over him. Ty Simpson's the best quarterback in college football. And watching his throws this morning and just rewatching them, and he has the ability to move linebackers. He has the ability to play action. He has the ability to absolutely manipulate your meat without ever seeing you. I mean, it is.
How is that even possible?
Dude, I don't know, but I want to know. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I think he obviously plays in a ton of big games too, which is why I think that really sets you apart, I think.
And I think Alabama is at 6-1. Alabama is one of the most dangerous teams in the country. And you look at now, I understand Tennessee's a very disappointing defense. I think we've covered that. But you start looking at the way Ty Simpson delivers the football. It's right, it's left, it's middle. His deep ball to the boundary right is undefensible. The guy very simply doesn't have a weakness under pressure. And it's something that when you look at, I mean, he is pretty play action dependent. The one thing he does not do well is throw the screen. And we've talked about that. And a lot of it is Jam Miller's been out for a good part of the season. But man, when you start looking at the fact that he's rated an 84.7 on 10 to 20 yard throws, which is your NFL model. When you start looking at the fact that he's a 73% deep ball throw, like the guy just doesn't miss. And his ball placement, everything is really good. And Julian Sayin, his numbers are even better than that.
Yeah.
He's just an experience. And I'm with you. I think when you look at Ty Simpson, he just plays in massive games every week. Now, he's not going to be as tough as a John McTayer. But I think probably right now, if you had to ask me who are the best quarterbacks in college football, I think I would take Ty Simpson 1. If I'm the head coach and I'm picking quarterbacks and I'm trying to win a national championship, Ty Simpson 1, Dante Moore 2, Julian Sayin 3, Fernando Mendoza 4, and then probably Lenore Sellers 5. Because I think Lenore Sellers, I cannot watch him run enough.
He has our full respect.
I think Fernando Mendoza is going to be fantastic, but I think Lenore Sellers as a pro prospect, dude, he is, and you never see him because, again, to your point, he doesn't play on TV ever.
Yeah, I think you're seeing the value of SEC quarterbacks though in the NFL, and I think that Ty Simpson just, again, he plays in a lot of big games, leverage games, leverage situations, and whether it was Missouri or Vanderbilt or whoever you want to look at, just shutting all those teams down and doing what they needed to do. And, I think that, I think Georgia's really good, but I think we're seeing that it was more Georgia than Carson Beck. And now it's more Carson Beck than Miami, in my opinion, holding them back. And overall, I just think that there's a very clear line drawn in the sand about quarterbacks that are pushing their team forward and quarterbacks that are just a piece of the game plan in a bigger picture.
I think if we were drafting talent in the NFL, Dante Moore is probably going number 1. Quarterbacks. I think the best player in this upcoming draft is going to be Ruben Bain. And if I were going to knee pad a dude, it'd be Ruben Bain, because that guy, I'm telling you right now.
What now? Let me tell you what now.
Let me get some lead pipe, because that
Yes,
dude,
you did. Yes, you did.
I think Ruben Bain. I don't know that there's a better defensive player, and I mean Caleb Downs too. Ruben Bain is built to wreck your life. And I think it's him or Caleb Downs. Now, Arvell Reese is, and I know you guys get all pissy when I talk about, you're just like Ohio State, Monty.
I think the term you were looking for is uppity.
Yeah, listen, but if you want to talk about Arvell Reese, where's 2 inches? Okay, like I'm just telling you right now.
Who I am? I want more.
I mean,
bro,
Arvell Reese here, boys. Right? Like
sucking a ding dong.
Bro.
Macaque.
My dude can play some football. And I think he is, God damn, he is good.
Yeah.
Arvell Reese is going to be a top 5 pick, and I'll be interested to see. If you could pick any player in college football, number 1 in the draft, who are you taking? And I mean, if we had to look right now, and you had to say by league, the worst team in the league right now is probably the Jets at 0-7. Is quarterback their biggest need?
Not really.
Probably not. Now, if you're the Saints, Dolphins, Cardinals, should the Cardinals be looking for a quarterback?
No. Nope.
I
He's
would
not
agree.
what's holding them back. I think
I mean,
a lot of those
obviously-
teams is all bad management, but I think we're just looking at roster and, positional needs. I mean, I think, like if you're the Jets, I'd probably be looking at Jeremiah Smith,
You'd be looking wide receiver.
I'd be
I
looking
think.
ward
Well, then
receiver.
Jordan in this draft, it'll be Jordan Tyson.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, he has 2 seasons left. Yeah, Jordan Tyson this coming draft.
Can you believe they beat Texas Tech?
Dude?
I'm telling you.
Flowers for you, bro. You were on with that one. Surprised you didn't get the tape measure out again. Yeah, see, that's what happens, dude. You do tape measuring, and this is what happens, bro. Dude, did you just sit on your nut, bro?
No, your fucking dog headbutted me in the ball. I mean, flush.
Bro.
Oh my God. Wow.
Nut shots.
So Jake is staying at my place, and he brought his bull in a china shop with him. Oh my God. And okay. No, he's not, Kay. Bear, no.
No, he's not, dude.
No, Bear is not proving me wrong. No, he's not.
Let's go into it. We need to humble some people here.
Man, I'm just going to tell you now. You're going to hate this segment, so enjoy yourself. What is his highest rated game? Was it at Arizona where he was rated a 51? No. His highest rated game was East Carolina at a 77. And here's the problem. Here's the problem with your Bear Bachmeier for Heisman. Do you understand that he is when he's a straight drop back passer, he's rated a 28 out of 100. When he is not blitzed, he's rated a 61 when he's not pressured.
Because it's garbage.
Do you understand when they disguise him, he's rated a 32.4? Would it surprise you at all to understand? And listen, I think Bear is a guy that very largely is developing, and he's going to be a good quarterback. But 13 of 22 for 166 yards.
It's not good.
He got significantly outplayed, especially in passing the football with Devin Dampier.
Mm-hmm.
Significantly outplayed. And I just think it's the hits he's taking. This kid, he is a good quarterback. He is developing. He is their season. He is their ceiling this season. And they're going to get into, you're going to find out the hard way in Lubbock, which is a really difficult place to go and play right now.
Yeah. Well, especially considering their loss. See, and this is my point on Friday when I picked Utah was, hey, if you don't win this game, if you're BYU, you don't win this game, dude, you're not going to be anywhere because you're going to lose 3 in a row at that point if you don't win the Utah game. So you won the Utah game. So now what do you have? You have Tech and then
your mom. Don't forget your mom.
Is it Iowa State?
Jakey mom.
I think
it is Iowa State.
Iowa State, then Tech.
Texas Tech, TCU at Cincinnati. So you're probably losing 2 of the next 3. My guess is you're going to lose at Iowa State and Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is you'll beat TCU. And then that trip to Cincinnati will determine your season. Because the next 2 games are games where the team is hurting.
So what do you mean Bear is proving Monty wrong? What does that mean?
And wow. Jared Goff is trying to stand in the pocket against Tampa. And he got away with it on the first drive. And now for the 3rd time, they finally got to him on a strip sack. And this is the 3rd time they've almost stripped the ball from him. What kind of dog does Jake got? A young, big puppy. That's the kind.
A lab mix of some variety, 40 pounds.
Monty forgot to wear his cup. I did.
Yeah, nut shots.
Brutal. Bear is proving Monty wrong, and the dog gave him some instant karma for the smack talk. Exactly. The Lack says, it changed my name. I don't know what happened. That YouTube's got a thing happening. So the Lack, and I don't know. What's your regular name? The Lack. Because it doesn't tell me. Sean McJunkin.
Okay.
I don't know what your regular screen name is. You should tell me.
Yeah, yeah.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Tholick. John Tholick. Oh, my bad. My Tholick.
Who the fuck are you?
I apologize. Yeah, who the f are you?
I'm sorry for us not knowing it's Tholick.
BYU next two opponents are corn and tortillas. Could be.
Yeah, a lot of farting's going to happen.
Could be. Could absolutely be.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there was just a lot of humbling going on this week in the Big 12.
There was. I totally agree. There was a lot. Where do you guys come down on the ball game tonight? Mariners at the Blue Jays. Man, she got me good. Good. That aching. You know that aching that's just like up into your tits?
Yes.
Mariners at Blue Jays tonight. Blue Jays are 110.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is 9 of the last 10 game 7s have gone to the road team. What do you like tonight?
Yeah, I hate this game for the Mariners, bro. I hate it. I think that Guerrero's been hot. I think that
it's Big Daddy Vladdy, please.
Yeah, Big Daddy Vladdy, Don't Call Me Magic, has been really hot. I think that Fat Dumper played a garbage game last night. And
I don't know if he played a garbage. I think there's this belief he's an amazing hitter. And he is an amazing talent. But the issue is...
Okay.
You going to go check it out?
No, I'm not. They will be fine, bro. They're out there. Monty's dog and my dog are having turf wars out in the living room, and we can hear it.
Because your dog is just a floppy...
Great personality dog that's very loving. You're right.
And untrained.
Not untrained at all.
Lightly trained. Right. Lightly trained.
I would say pretty trained. Body trained, nose sit, nose down.
Doesn't know don't jump. Doesn't know don't headbutt people in the balls.
Well, I don't think that's when you train, you know.
Well, that's probably true. You probably teach her to attack people's balls. But all the hoes want the nuts, you know. He is not... Cal Raleigh's not a great hitter. Cal Raleigh is a home run hitter. But you guys understand, for somebody that had 596 plate appearances, he struck out 188 times. Like, that's a lot of striking out. And you understand he's had 43 plate appearances and he struck out 16 times in the postseason. That's not good. It's not good. Like, now, he also has 4 home runs and 7 RBIs, which is also, by the way, not good in 11 games. So he's got to get his strikeout rate down, and they become an exponentially better offense.
Mm-hmm.
They become what Vlad Guerrero is delivering.
Yeah, so I don't love this for the Mariners. I think it's, you know, the Blue Jays should win this game. You're at home. You know, you had a really nice showing last night, hit the ball well, played good baseball, turned several double plays. The reason I say that Cal played a bad game last night is I just didn't like the approach. You know, I understand that you're not an average hitter, or you're not a hitter who hits for average, is how I should say that. You know, and you're not an on-base guy, you know, but you are a power guy. And
are you a contact guy?
No, I don't think he's even a contact guy. I think he's a slugger. He's a slugging percentage guy, and he's a home run guy. And I think that, you know, the issue is that I didn't like situationally where they were at mentally last night. You could just see that he was going to roll over. You could see that you know, you were trying to do too much. I think it's a stretch to say they didn't want to go to game 7, but you could tell that you were kind of battling early, like to get off to a good start and have the vibes be good and just be in a good spot as a team. So, you know, I don't know. I just didn't love what I saw from the Mariners last night. And I don't know if that changes tonight, if the magical Cinderella story can continue, you know, if you find a way to bounce back. But I think the Blue Jays should absolutely be favored in this game. And I wouldn't be surprised if this was a game where it was tight through the 6th. And then, you know, one of these teams blew it open in the last 3 frames to put it away.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what he does tonight, because Cal Raleigh looks tired. Carrying around that fat ass is not light work.
No.
The guy catches a ton of innings, and we were talking about this watching the game last night. I think you have to move him. At some point, you got to Joe Mauer that ass. And
bro, dude, we've got the curses back. Damn it, dude.
I think it would be cool to have a West Coast World Series.
Dude, root for the Jays, bro. Root for the Jays.
I want Seattle to win tonight so Monty can go to a World Series. I'm
shut
not
up.
going to a World Series game unless the Cubs are in it, and you saw to that not
Shut
happening.
the fuck up, Donnie.
Oh, man, Monty, I'm rooting for the Cubs. I want you to be happy. Thanks for nothing.
Nico Horner is just a great second baseman, Monty. You guys are in great shape.
Curse you, James. Yeah, because Joey Harper's a Mariners fan. You know, what did I do? You rooted for the Mariners because you think
you tried to be positive and you ruined their season.
Okay,
Yeah, but
let's
see,
go
now
Blue
it's
Jays.
too late,
Now it's too
though.
late.
See, you commented the initial. See, this is what you don't get. The first initial comment has to be correct. You can't undo.
You've crossed the streams.
Yeah, you can't undo the Monty karma, dude. You can't undo.
You can never cross the streams.
Yeah,
James.
dude. I mean, you can't go across the street into East Palo Alto and come back. I mean, be better, dude. Let's go.
Jake doesn't know what crossing the streams means. Do you know what that means?
No, I don't.
Have you ever seen Ghostbusters?
No. No.
I get that. I get it.
James is the Antichrist of sports. Well,
I'm still a human.
human or non-human. I am amazed that in the Iraq where James lives,
Biologics.
that,
I'm sorry, James. The curse is just too deep, dude.
I love James when he's not rooting for my team. As a Tigers fan, I endorse James' endorsement of Seattle. Hey, homie, Jared Goff's the MVP, you jerk.
You just hate Detroit sports.
Did you just see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were practicing tackling a statue there?
Oh.
I've seen Ghostbusters. That's only Dana I'm interested in.
Dude, Dana's your burner, and you just need to admit it. We all know it.
Gozar. Oh, my God, Gozar. Don't. If you headbutt me in the nuts again, I'm kicking you in the face.
What's Gozar?
I'm not too familiar with that. I'm unfamiliar with it.
What am I supposed to do with this?
What's up, big bro?
Leave it to James. Whoa. Okay, if you're right about me, go Tech. It doesn't work that way. You don't understand
You don't get
it.
to say go Tech so that your teams will win. It doesn't work that way.
And frankly, the karmic damage that you are doing to people's lives
Don't touch me there. That, sir, is my no-no square.
is only getting worse because of your stupid TCU flag. Well, Monty, I went to a condensed program at TCU.
Yeah, that's stupid.
They wired that thing up that ass, and I was through.
About buzzer 5,000.
Yeah, and you can keep joking. Dude, you are cursing both TCU, Oak State, the Dallas Cowboys, the Kansas City Chiefs,
The Mariners.
the Seattle Mariners, the Chicago Cubs, and Preston Stone's cock.
Facial recognition.
Devastating to all. Jake's seen Blues Brothers, I hope at least. He is not.
Yes, I have.
No, he's not.
Dude,
No, he's
we
not.
watched it together.
Give me one line from that
I
movie.
can't name one off the top of my head, bro.
He's never seen it.
Yes.
So what role did John Candy play in Blues Brothers?
Bro, I can't recite the whole movie, dude. I've seen it once.
And I'm a vampire feeding off mass disappointment.
So John Candy wasn't in Blues Brothers, number
Okay.
one.
Great.
Good for you, buddy.
Jake was born in 1982 and he still has not seen Rocky.
Buddy was buddy tonight.
He wasn't born in 82. I was 10 years old. I hadn't even lopsided his mom yet.
Length and girth.
Exact. John Candy was in Blues Brothers. Exactly. Orange whip. 3 orange whips. Yeah. Okay. I believe I saw. I believe in the past show, James said he likes Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, and Indiana football. I believe he said Indiana's his favorite team now. The problem is Oak State James is now Oak State purple frog.
Horny James.
James wants to be a TCU fan because he spent 2 weeks in school in the Seminole Fluid program at TCU. Now he's like, oh man, I got my degree, my master's degree in Seminole Fluid at TCU, and now I'm a TCU fan.
Macaque.
Conveniently, TCU has gone into a death spiral. And Oak State's even worse than that. Oak State's the worst football program in the country. And all of a sudden, James disavows that.
That was a masterpiece of dog shit.
I don't like Indiana. Exactly.
But look, read the whole comment. See, this is even worse.
I do like their stadium. The whole castle thing looks cool. Exactly. He probably hasn't seen Princess Bride. He has not.
Yay!
But Jake's been to every Disneyland on the planet. And, he is, anyway. I'm hearing a bunch of sirens outside right now. Thought I was in Seattle or Portland. Well, it's a war zone here.
Yeah, I mean, I drove through the city formerly known as Portland. That's a war zone and burning down and, in just some state of disarray and a terrible city. And man, wow, it was just, bro, don't know how I made it, guys. Honestly, I thought I wasn't going to make it. It was really dangerous.
What is amazing is the No Kings rally this weekend in Seattle. I mean, the No Kings rally across the country was spectacular, but here it was crazy. You should have a weekly episode where we all watch one of the classics together so Jake can get caught up. The comments would be amazing.
People will read your positive shit.
Let me tell you something here. John Travolta movies. Was John Travolta in Jaws?
No.
Was John Travolta in The Godfather?
No.
Or was John Travolta in oh my God, the movie just went right out of my head.
Grease?
Oh my God.
Pulp Fiction?
Platoon.
I don't think he was.
What?
In Platoon. Am I wrong?
You want to rethink that?
No.
The very fact that you had to question it tells me.
I'm not an 80s expert, dude. I'm not a historian. I don't claim to get degrees from places, unlike some people on this show.
Yeah, you didn't go to a Seminole Fluid program at TCU. I would agree.
Yeah.
You see, I'm a guy of simple
We're
taste.
deploying the National Guard for frogs. They're dangerous.
Right.
I think they are.
And toads as well.
I think they are. Carrie, yes. John Travolta was in Carrie. Everyone hit the like button. That's right. Make Bear Bachmeier feel better about his inability to throw a football. Oklahoma State does not suck.
Okay, right there. See, this is the problem, dude. You said you understand the mea culpa that's gone on over time here. You at one point were saying best wide receiver room in the country, bro.
Josh Fard, let me tell you something. Have you seen his pubes? They're bright red like a strawberry field, Monty. Greatest tight end in the history of Oak State sports. You guys have won one game and you lost to Tulsa. And now you need to change your flag back to Oak State. We may have to institute a ban on your comments until you have an Oak State flag back.
If you felt these balls.
Picture. And I want Oak State bumper stickers on the car.
Pixar didn't happen. Much like Dana Marie. Notice, never heard from Dana outside of the YouTube chat. Just saying.
Can we watch Deliverance together as a group? Why does everybody always go to Deliverance? I'm over here trying to rectify. Well,
I don't really get it.
I'm trying to chart with James, and you guys want to talk about Deliverance. Clownski says bunch of boomers pretending it was Woodstock again. Yeah, 7 million boomers. It was all boomers. The largest protest in the history of this country against a single president. And we're supposed to believe it was all. I love that he's like, it was poorly organized and nobody showed up. It's really unfortunate they can't even get people to turn out. Yeah, 7 million people. Lots of older people there, but also lots of young people. Like in Seattle, they did this. They closed down half the city of Seattle. Like, it was wild. The overpasses, like, it was Chicago. I am so proud of Chicago, the way that Chicago handled that. And you notice there was very little disturbances. It's what this country is supposed to be about. And I don't care if you're a Trump supporter or not. The ability to peacefully protest is, in my opinion, it is what this country was built on. And that we were able to, as a society, come together and see that and understand that that's what this was about. I'm just so proud to be an American this weekend, watching that happen in DC, watching it happen in Chicago, Seattle, Portland, Los Angeles. And you just look across the country in Washington, DC, and you see like all these people coming out and being peaceful, yet boisterous. And the message was clear. Like, it was just, it was amazing.
Yes.
It was amazing. And that's what this country needs to be about. We need to come together. And whether you agree or disagree, let's come together and peacefully protest, exercise our First Amendment rights. That to me is, it was poorly organized and no one showed up like the last inauguration. Wow. Wow. See, and Eric, the sad thing is that you keep vomiting out this stuff, and I know you know better. You just will never. Do you understand that Donald Trump today admitted that tariffs have decimated the farm industry today? I was watching his press conference today, and he said we are desperate to restart the sale of soybeans to China. And they haven't been receptive, and we have to take measures. And when he was asked if that's why he put in 100% tariffs, he ignored the question. November 1st, 100% tariffs go into effect on China. And he was asked if that's why he did that, and he ignored the question. Like, we as Americans have to come together. We have to. Who's going to protect farmers? Who's going to protect veterans? Who's going to protect doctors and nurses? Who's going to protect? Do you know how hard it is to be an educator in this country right now? Who's going to protect them? We have to protect them. And when you look at this No Kings rally, it was really, really spectacular.
Yeah, it's the ultimate sign of freedom and being an American.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was really incredible to watch. We better start spending our NIL money. Our defense is terrible, and Paul Gunther needs to be removed. Well,
you seem angry, but what else is new?
I think Dan Mullen took his eye off the ball, and I hope I'm wrong about that. But I think it's very difficult if you're UNLV to go to Boise and lose the way they lost. And the numbers on UNLV's loss are not pretty. They gave up 558 total yards while putting up 476. And you look at that Boise was 6 of 11 on third down, 1 of 1 on fourth down, and had 11 yards per pass and 9 yards per rush. It is not the problem. You got to stop calling for people to get fired in year one. We've got to stop doing that. It's a new regime. They need time to institute their system and their players.
Yeah.
You got to relax. Create stupid tariffs and then talk about bailing out farmers through taxpayer dollars. Real men of it's tough, dude, right now for farmers. I think two of the hardest professions are teachers, educators. Being a principal or a superintendent, I think, is just unthankful work, thankless work. You know, Ronald Reagan famously warned that tariffs don't protect, they backfire. In the long term, they do. And they're not, you can't weaponize them. And
Yep.
we're seeing that. History has shown that tariffs do not work. I would agree. Reagan, ray gun, space lasers. Yeah, remember the lasers? Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius. There you go. Listen, I don't think it's an issue of Donald Trump sucks, or we have to be able to protect Americans. And we're not doing that. That's the issue. And
nope, putting people in bad spots.
And whether it's, I mean, you had to know Donald Trump tried to broker this thing with, and I tend to believe the idea that him and Netanyahu made an agreement that Netanyahu would back off for 6 weeks so Donnie could try and win a Nobel Peace Prize, which was flawed because when does voting for the Nobel Peace Prize happen? In January. So you can't even, you knew there would be no peace between Jerusalem and, I mean, whatever faction you want to say that runs Palestine.
Right.
And it fell apart. And that's not Donald Trump's fault. That's not, it was not his doing to broker a peace deal. You're talking about things that have been going on for hundreds of years.
Ages.
Hundreds of years. Boys, FYI, my goodbye party on Saturday, 3 weeks till I move. Very excited. You should
go,
be.
Dude.
King of Thailand's moving to Thailand.
Dude, you got to send us some pictures and stuff of Thailand and your place and everything. That'd be cool to see.
I think it's going to be amazing for you. And I'm so excited for you. I don't know that I could ever leave this country full time, but you know, check out the Enemy's Project All. If you want to see someone trying to actually be part of the solution, I will look it up. Loner Phone has great international call coverage. I hope so. We just need to get back to protecting Americans like Kim Kardashian. And, you know, I mean, you look at what Kim K's been through. Don't you talk about my sister. She's been through a lot. Kim K talking about her divorce with Kanye.
Just not feeling safe, you know, not even physically, just like maybe emotionally or even, you know, financially, because you have, you know, big ideas that financial things when it's like a thing where I would like come home and we had like 5 Lamborghinis and I'd come home and they'd all be gone, you know, if he was in an episode, and I'd be like, oh wait, where's all our cars? Like my new car. And it would be like, oh, he gave them away to all of his friends. And then I'd be like, huh, okay. And then I'd come home again, and at a different point we had, you know, 5 more Lamborghinis, and then I'd wake up in another episode and they'd all be gone again. And that time I was like, keep them, guys, you know, like, I don't know what to say, but like, I never felt like I didn't know, you know, what you're going to get when you wake up. And that's like a really unsettling feeling.
So you had kids with him. You create a whole life with him. It's not like you were with him for 3 weeks. So this is where I really struggle. Call Her Daddy podcast. Do you feel bad for Kim Kardashian?
Nope. You made a choice. You knew who this guy was. You have gobbles of money, oodles of money, more money than you'll ever need. And I agree, the life story is fascinating. I think, you know, the stories, you know, like this one, you know, the idea that, you know, a Lamborghini to them is just another car and
just throw it away.
Just throw it away. No problem. We'll get another one. It's not a big deal. That to me is the fascinating part. But this idea that somehow, you know, she's like, oh, it was really difficult and man, wow. And it's like, okay, hold on a second. Did you guys live in LA, you know, in the hills, in a mansion? Like, you've got everything you'll ever need. Your kids are fine. Like, your kids will never have to work a day in their life. And we're sitting here as working class people expected to feel sorry for you. Yeah, I don't really feel sorry for you, dude. Sorry. Don't feel sorry for you.
Yeah, I don't even know how I would feel sorry for you. I want to. I actually don't. I take domestic issues very seriously, but this is so ridiculous and over the top.
Yeah, I think that Kim K decided to marry him and have kids with him because it was the thing to do, right? You were a power couple. He was fine for several years. Did just fine. Was doing music and concert tours and all this stuff. And then, the story goes that the meds stopped and he kind of went down a different path and it all kind of snowballed. And so, her point is like, oh, well, he's a different guy off his meds than on his meds. And my point is, okay, well, that might be true, but you're also Kim Kardashian and can probably get like 99% of the dudes that you would want.
But you know what the most difficult part of this conversation is? And this is the mental health fight. I think you're always on and off your meds. I think very few people who deal with depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder have the ability to take their meds on a regular basis. And we both know each other.
Mm-hmm.
We both or other people in our lives, not in our lives anymore, who deal with that. I don't think you're ever consistently on your meds. And I think when you're going to have a child with somebody, and again, I know that this is Kim K and she is the same gal that went full, Ray J, and
that was a long time
you're
ago.
probably not worried about the impression you're making on children in the world, but you're bringing kids into a world where they have no say over a volatile situation. And now you have kids that have to deal with that kind of volatility with their father and worry about their long-term well-being. Like, I don't think we can reward people like Kim Kardashian with hanging a victim. Oh my God, I feel so bad for you, when you made terrible choices pretty much your entire life, in my opinion.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Kanye West was a bad decision from the jump. It's what I say about every woman that's ever dated Tiger Woods, including Lindsey Vonn. Are you at all surprised that something sex-related happened between Lindsey and Tiger?
Nope.
Are you at all surprised that mental health was a huge problem for Kim K when she married Kanye? No. Right. It's just really difficult for me to feel bad for people like that. And I feel bad saying that, but I think that's the reality of it.
Yeah. And I think that their perspective is so warped just from, the money. I mean, you're,
10 Lambos later.
It's just so different, man. It's just so, and again, I don't resent them for that, but you're not going to get me to feel sorry for you when you can make any choice you want. You've got all the resources in the world, because that's what makes things harder for people, right? Like if you're broke and you're with someone like Kanye who has those kind of issues and has to try to deal with them and manage them.
That's right.
When you don't have money and you're in a really tough spot, like imagine going to work and then coming home. Like that's the thing that annoys me. Like you're trying to portray this victimhood about like, oh, well, I didn't know what it was going to be when we got home. Well, I know what it's going to be when you got home. A massive mansion, any car you want, any vacation you want, as many times a year, as often as you'd like. No problem. Anything you want. And that's what's hard.
And I think as men in particular, we have an extraordinary impact on the lives around us. And it's just very different. And I think with mental health, when you throw that into a volatile personality like Kanye, and then you have a guy who doesn't want to take his meds, and he doesn't like the way it makes him feel when he's on his meds, which I totally understand. I totally get that. But what choice do you have? Take your meds or become violent and scary to the people you live with. Give away your Lamborghinis. Stalk your wife who left you. Like it. These are all things that we all know are part and parcel to the mental health struggle in this country that none of us are willing to openly talk about. And until we bring mental health out of the shadows and alleyways, we're going to have addiction. We're going to have a lot of homeless people. And, it's really difficult. It's really difficult to try and figure that out, and I want to, but I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how you figure that out. It's okay. BYU will win out. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Separation of church and state is the Monty Show. In the Monty Show. Well, that's fine. Dan Welsh. I got to stop watching if you're going to politics or church on me. All right. Well, have a good day.
Have a nice day, bro.
It would suck if I had a Lamborghini and all of a sudden my spouse just gave it away to someone. I know if that was my Lamborghini, the title would be in my name and I would have the only key. Well, it doesn't work like that in marriages. And when money is not something you ever think about, you're probably not real focused on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's true.
It's because of the side effects of the meds, right? I get that. But you don't have a choice. You live in psychosis or you deal with side effects. And I know people in my life who feel the word dull is used a lot. Hey, when I take my meds, I feel dull. Hey, it's so easy not to take your meds every day. But look who you become when you don't. And you just, you don't get a choice anymore.
Well, and I think the thing is that, largely that's what we agree on. I think most people, at least in my experience, who deal with it or anything like that, anything in that realm, would agree that it's like, hey, I don't like who I am when I'm struggling with these things, but it also is difficult to take my stuff every day. Like those are things that I think, most people deal with. Most people who are in that spot deal with that. I would agree with that.
Yeah, I think it is. I think that's tough. I think that's really tough. So, anyway, I just thought it was interesting that Kim K was talking about this. And I think she wanted compassion. And I the hard part is usually when you have a woman talking about the impact mental health has on our marriage, you have a lot of compassion for that because, usually when we're talking about traditional family roles and women are, trying to have a career and work with kids and then their husband, that's not what this is.
No,
this is Kim Kardashian choosing a life and then wanting to be a victim because of her choices. That's how it felt to me.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So
yeah.
I'm probably a terrible person, but
yeah,
All right. The Monty Show, as always, presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com. 24/7, 365. The Advocates are available to you. We gotta move you over this. Get you into the shot a little bit.
Okay.
All right. We'll be back tomorrow. Off on Friday. Don't forget.
What?
So, do you have a heightened awareness and awesomeness sitting in the same room with me?
No. You're good at picking quarterbacks.
There you go. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.